debate. Me, your man Louie T, here on CWall Wednesdays. Once again, we are joined by Commander's beat reporter from Louie TV, Candi Waller, on another Wednesday after another blowout loss. This one a lot worse because of the injury to Jayden Daniels. We've got so much to talk about. Jayden Daniels' injury, what the reaction to that was, what the locker room was like afterwards. I can only imagine. Also, what the locker room is like this week. Um, what is the sense you get around this team moving forward? And then just your overall thoughts about what's next. We got so much to dive into tonight. First and foremost, how you doing, Candi? Thank you for joining.
And thank you for having me. I'm doing all right. I'm okay. Yeah. I'm managing. I got the Wednesday, so I was like, all right,
okay. Well, it's been. I'm glad that you have that energy. Your energy is infectious, and it's rubbing off on me. I was like, Candi, how you doing? She said, I'm doing well. How you doing? I'm like, yeah, I've been better, Candi. She's like, oh, everything all right? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm like, the team is rough. She's like, oh, yeah. I get that. But everything else going real? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, well, good. So I'm gonna adopt that energy tonight. So, Candi, Sunday was just miserable. It was the championship era threads. Art Monk retirement number night. The crowd was juiced up. Everything seemed like the stage was set for this team to go out and be competitive. Now, we talked about this last week, and I said everything in this game speaks to Seattle being the better team and that they should win. The only thing that I am basing my small hope on in this game is the fact that there's a lot of energy in the building. The team played better for a half last week. Sam Darnold is not a mobile quarterback, so maybe you can get to him. Obviously, that did not happen. And the jerseys and the buzz and like, maybe all of that, they'll get wrapped up in all of that, come out with some energy. And I knew this was over because Dan Quinn never accepts the football when he wins the toss. He always defers to the second half. And he was trying to try something different. And I can't knock him for that because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again in expecting different results. And they always defer, end up kicking the ball off. The other team scores a touchdown. We're trailing and we're always playing from behind. So in his mind, how about we get the football first and see if we can't score, set the tone, get out in front, play with the lead, play from a position of power. And I struggle with that because I'm one of those people. It doesn't matter unless you're playing in like extreme weather, wind conditions where you want to control who has the ball going in what direction in the fourth quarter. You always defer until the second half. My thought process and my logic is, you know what the score is when the game starts. You do not know what the score is going to be at halftime. There's never an opportunity or there's never a chance or a circumstance where you don't want the ball after halftime. Whether you're up 17-7 or you're down 17-7, having the ball isn't going to hurt you. But getting in at the beginning, we are the worst team. We scored the least amount of points on the opening drive this season. What possessed you to think that that was going to change on Sunday night? Boggles the mind. But they take the ball. They have a 15-yard penalty after getting one first down. It derails the drive, and then the wheels fell off. I want to start there with you as to what was going through your mind as you're watching this unfold. Sam Darnold, 15 for 15 for 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. The ball never hit the ground. They scored 31 points on 5 possessions. It's the craziest, most efficient half of offensive football and the worst defensive performance I've ever seen this team play in a half. You give me your view and vantage point of what you witnessed in the first half. We'll get to the Jayden injury, but the game was well in hand before that happened. Talk to me about leading up to the game, energy, all of that. And I just want to hear it from your point of view.
I mean, the energy is always like the same. They're always the same. I think that was one of the things even from last year where it was like no matter, I mean, they didn't lose a lot last year. So even after a win, it would be just like the same. Yeah. I would call, be like, there's a bunch of old souls. It would be all quiet in the locker room. They be in there playing cards, or they just like playing a bunch of old music. It was just them, it was not a whole lot of hoopla, even when they were up. It was just like, then you say, never too high, never too low, and so it was still that. I do want to recognize and just just acknowledge that the organization has done a great job at with the prime time and trying to get the mood right. Fans are showing up, like
the light shows, all of that. They've done a tremendous job.
Incredible. The light show, the run-in video that they do, it's they set the mood and the tone. It's fantastic. Everything that the team, before the organization would be like not even caring. They are doing a tremendous job in that regard.
They're creating an experience is what they've done.
Absolutely. And having gone to now a few of these stadiums, I'm like, okay, finally this organization is doing what is normal,
right?
And of still high standard. Like the light show and all that is still like, to me, I'm like, yo, this is good. So that we can compare it to other
right.
Like, what, this is actually really good. Right. And so you kind of get into all of that. But we talked about this last week. It was kind of like, hey, even if the Commanders do every single thing right, still a very strong possibility they could lose this football game. Right? This is a really good football team in all phases. They just are. And it's interesting that Art Monk Jersey night. So I've actually been looking forward to that night ever since August when they first announced it, and the media was able to do a scrum with him and everything. It was really incredible. That was nice. But to answer your question, and the posse was there, so that was
they
dope.
came out for the coin toss.
Yep.
Art Monk and all the legends, man. They deserve so much better.
I see Gary Clark often, so it's like.
Oh, that's just Gary. That's just Gary.
But it was like Ricky Sanders here too. Oh, and of course Art Monk. So yes.
Where's Ricky Sanders?
Exactly. Coming outside for Art Monk. That's where he is.
Right. Exactly.
So that's how that went down. And it's just, I mean, especially having them go out there as honorary captains was dope.
Yeah.
Now, of course, in my mind, I'm like, of course they would be here, but it's like there's like no receivers, so. Let's just get to exactly what you brought up. And on the pregame show, I talked about aggression. I talked about, and I got a question in that said, is the team desperate or should they be desperate? I said, they're absolutely desperate.
Yep.
They're desperate. I said, now here's the thing though. There's a difference between aggression and desperation.
Desperation. Yes,
I said, I'll know easily if they're desperate or they're being aggressive. The coin toss.
Desperate.
That's desperation. That wasn't aggression.
Yep.
Because unless you would like for your offense in Cliff Kingsbury to fail this test, that's what you just did. Like you literally just there's I'm going to always go back to using your clues. Tampa Bay wildcard game. Bobby Wagner's mic'd up. Tampa Bay says they're going to receive. And Bobby said, oh, they want to receive? Like he was shocked. He said, oh, 100%. Do you know how disrespectful that is? Okay, let's be clear. You just disrespect it because it is.
Yep.
That means the offense is going to score. They have just told you.
Drew, I think I'm going to take this toss and I'm going to score a touchdown.
And I'm going to score a touchdown. The Atlanta Falcons did that to them this season. We saw what they did. The Dallas Cowboys did that to them this season. You saw what they did. Hey, listen, Washington, you don't have that kind of juice right now. Don't do this.
Yep.
And they did. And I said, well, here we go.
Yep. That's well said, Candy.
I said, here we go. Y'all gonna score first? What are you gonna do? Throw a Hail Mary? What are you gonna do? Because How?
Mm-hmm.
How? On the opening, because this isn't, even when they were hot.
Yeah. Or fully healthy. They still weren't
healthy,
scrubs. Yeah.
some games, it took them a minute to warm up. It took them a minute to get going. And in quite a few games, even later in last season, you didn't see them really get going until the end of the first half, the beginning of the second half, because they deferred and they got the ball. Yeah. So sometimes they would be very efficient scoring the first drive. Others would be kind of like, but this is how we're going to do this. Mm-hmm. Okay. First things first, Luke gets hurt.
Yeah. Opening kickoff. Like, Luke, you got to be kidding me.
Opening kickoff. And I'll be honest with you. I'm like, hey, listen, as beautiful as these jerseys are, maybe just let it go. Just this isn't, something isn't right. Mm-hmm. I said that. And I don't mind sharing that on your show, to being transparent. I said, maybe we just got to let the era go. Because this isn't, what is this? Like, as soon as he got up, I said, oh, dear God. I just came on off, walked on down to the locker room. I said, well, something's broken. That's literally what I said. Something's broken. I don't know what, but something is broken on Luke's body.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is all right. Because where on earth have literally your first four receivers been dealing with injuries? Because I include Debo in that too, because Debo's dealing with the heel injury. So just to be fair, he is. Mm-hmm. Of course, they didn't score. No, they didn't. So what do you think? When you just disrespect, what do you think is about to happen? What do you think is about to happen? What do you think? So I was already there of like, oh my goodness. Because the things that I bring up, and I've shared this with you on the show as well as offline, if I saw it in preseason, it's November.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. It really is.
And before it was, well, the starters aren't playing.
Right. You can make up an excuse for
it. That's an identity issue right there. That is an identity issue. That's a thing right there. The not the sense of urgency, the not being consistent, the looking like you don't know where to go or where you need to be. What is this? And so, I mean, it just went from bad to worse quickly. Yeah. Way before the injury, like I said, way before the injury, all the things, it was just bad. And I just think offensively, I'm like, maybe, they're just trying to do the best that they can. Defensively, I'm like, something is awry. Something is going on here. Something is going on here. Because they don't look like something is up. And I had to figure out what that is exactly. I mean, I don't know what it is, right? Like, it's just the unfortunate reality that there was issues last year. And because of the winning, because of the records,
in the offense,
they didn't get addressed because of a healthy Jayden Daniels. They did not get addressed. A healthy offense. The issues that were there did not get addressed at all. So now what was not a good defense last year is just like, whoa.
So let me ask you this.
It's real bad.
Where does the blame start for you? I know where it starts for me. Where does it start for you on the defensive side?
On the defensive side, there is tough. It's tough for me because I would say, well, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Right. And I feel like it's always hard to blame scheme when the execution isn't there. But if the execution isn't there in week 10, or week 9, whatever week it is now.
Week 9, that was 9. Now we're in 10.
Right. Yeah. So we're in 10. Okay. So let's just say it's not there in November.
Right.
Then I got to look at the coaching staff. Because I still remember a time, because it was just last year, where if something wasn't right, they did try to. We weren't talking as much about missed tackles, I don't recall, at this time last year. It wasn't pretty a lot of times. It wasn't pretty, but like
it wasn't sloppy.
It wasn't sloppy at this time. The identity was showing up in the game. You saw it, you felt it, it was there. But some of these issues, I'm like, well, who's coaching out of that? I mean, let's just go. I mean, if I may use even the hip drop tackle situation. Okay, it wasn't flagged, but you knew he got fined for it. So nobody's going to talk to him about this hip drop tackle. Is it really one? I mean, that's debatable, but there's been 3 now.
Yeah,
there's been 3.
The first 2 were definitely. This one wasn't. That's why they rescinded the suspension.
It wasn't. So that's why. Yeah. But even still, it becomes even though they didn't flag it, so nobody was going to say anything.
And now what's going to happen in the game, they're going to be looking for it to throw it.
Absolutely.
Now they're telling their officials, hey, you watch number 4, and if it even looks like a hip drop, if he grabs somebody by the collar or the inside of their jersey, just go ahead and throw the flag.
Just go ahead and throw it.
They're going to target him now for sure.
Man, he's targeted. And so now it becomes is somebody calling? Because I'll start with my own little superstitious ways. Like I made a comment about the jerseys. I'm like, well, maybe what is happening? What is happening? This is crazy. Because you didn't flag it, but you've been fined. Yeah. You're going to get.
They didn't flag it in any of the games, by the way.
Flag it in any of the games.
The Atlanta game, not the Kansas City game, not this game.
Yeah. No, and no. And so I'm like, I know I'm just gonna always go back to week 4. I'm gonna always go back to week 4 in the Atlanta Falcons game from a defense perspective. You asked me about defense, and I said something isn't right.
That's when it all fell apart.
I said that Atlanta Falcons game. I said, oh no, because that was even a moment. I think I was on your show that week when I said I think I was eating cake and ice cream like at 10 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning, yeah.
He was asking me a question, and I said I think I'm going to be sick. Yeah. And he was like, because of the game, I said, well, that maybe that's what it is. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that was that red velvet cake. Like I just eat it, but it was bad. It wasn't right then. Right. And it just didn't look familiar. I'm like, I don't know what is. And so once it gets like that on game day, I'm like, all right, something isn't resonating from coach to player. Something is happening here. And it's just, it's bad. It's real bad. And it's just falling apart.
So as that first half went by and you get to halftime and it's 31-7, what was the mood in the press box and what did the stadium look like? What was that whole experience?
People started leaving before the half. Yeah. And so then it was obvious that people was like, oh, wait, Art Monk ceremony.
Yeah. I said, poor Art Monk's gonna be talking in front of Seahawks fans.
I'm out of here. But they stayed and it was nice and it was great. And he was still overjoyed. Like it didn't put a damper on his moment, not for him, from what I could tell. He was overjoyed. He was over the moon. His family, it was all beautiful. It was fantastic.
But he's such a humble guy. Even if it did, you wouldn't know. He's such a great guy.
Exactly. He was really touched by it all. And but like shortly thereafter the half, people were leaving. And once the game, it was quiet. You could hear a pin drop. I mean, we're not at the injury yet, but after that, I mean, Seahawks fans weren't even cheering. Everybody was just like, throw this whole game away. Even Seahawks fans were like, they couldn't speak. They weren't cheering on the way out. They weren't doing anything. That was the most quiet exit. And I've been in many games in that stadium over the years covering the team, and that was the most quiet I had heard that stadium on an exit.
So what were your opinions of him being in the game to start the fourth quarter? Were you among the group of people that were screaming to take this guy out? What is he still doing in the game? Especially coming off of his now second injury of the season. Were you among the mindset of what is he doing in the game down 31 points?
So I will tell you very transparent conversation that happened. So on the defensive drive, I saw Jayden. He was standing off all the way down the sideline by himself. And I said to Donna and Lake, I said, y'all see that down there? They were like, well, I said, Jayden is standing down there by himself. I said, only known him a year and a half. I said, but I've never seen him do that. He was watching the game. He was standing there by himself with a towel over his head. I said, I've never seen him do that. Debo walked down the sideline and talked to him. And they were standing there talking. And then Donna said, he's probably done for the day. I said, that's Jayden. You know Jayden going back in that game. I said, like a whole quarter left. He's going back in the game. And she was like, you think so? I said, well, why wouldn't he? We talking about Jayden Daniels. You know he's going back in that game. I said, he's probably sitting up there trying to figure out how he could take over the world right now. That's just his character. I've never seen him do that. Like, I've just never seen him. I mean, what reason would he? I don't know why he was doing it. I haven't talked to him directly, but he clearly needed a moment. He was watching the game, but he was by himself, and he's never like that. And like I said, Debo went down there. And that's what I said. And I looked up when he was, throwing the ball back and forth, and I just didn't think anything of it. It was neither here nor there with me. It was like, there's time left in the game. He's going back in there. And I just honestly didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. And it's, again, you could take it any other way. Of course, if he doesn't get hurt, we're not having this conversation.
Right. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but
hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah.
But because that's Jayden, and whether you know the play or not, he's going to try to make a play. Because he's got that, I think we've talked about that before. He's got that superhero, I gotta do it.
Yeah,
I
complex.
gotta put the team on my back. I gotta put DC on my back. I gotta do I can't disappoint anybody. He's just wired that way. And you see other teams in blowouts, whether it's, maybe if they're winning, they might take somebody out, but they may not if they're losing. You just never know. And so it was a tough, I could tell nobody thought anything of it. Really. Because that's Jayden.
Before or after? You talking about before?
Oh, before, yeah. I mean, no. Now in the press box, there was plenty of people that were saying, why is he going back in the game, or why is he still in the game? I was probably in the, the few that was like, because Jayden going back in the game, that's why, and I started back writing in my notebook, like, I got this to find out, that to find out, I had just looked back up when he got hurt, and I didn't know what it was. I was hoping it wasn't his leg, if I'm being real transparent with you all. And I looked up at the TV, because where I was sitting, there's a TV right there. And I looked up at the TV and I saw Coach Quinn's face, and I said, oh God. And I just put my head down.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That was one of the times where you were fortunate to not watch the TV copy.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, no. I didn't,
You could see it live.
Everybody, and then of course, because then people are, replaying the video, people had the video and all that. So of course, in the press box, they're like, oh my God, his arm. And it was like, his arm is broken. It's this, is that. It was all the things, all the reactions. And then once, I saw him put it in the air. I mean, now at that point, see Dan Quinn, it looks like he could cry any minute, and then, or just burst into tears any minute. And then the stadium was quiet after that. You didn't hear anything.
You could hear a pin drop. Like when Mike Tirico cut to commercial break, it was the quietest I've ever heard that stadium. It was even quieter than when Robert got hurt back in the 2012 playoffs.
You didn't hear anything else for the rest of the night.
It was so quiet. He did the somber voice.
Now, it might have been like that. What one colleague, Felix Trammell, told me was that it was very similar. The feel of it, as well as in the locker room, was like the day Alex Smith got hurt. He said it was like that. And I think I see somebody saying in the stadium, it was not nope, I couldn't hear. It was like we were not even at a game. Yeah. I didn't even know it was bad. And so, and now I'm watching, right? Because once I saw Bobby go down there and Mikey, once I saw them go like to Jayden, I was like, well, whatever that is, it's bad.
It's serious. You knew it immediately. Like I said, if you were watching at home, you knew immediately that it was bad. And then in typical Jayden fashion, they bring out the cart and he wants no part of it.
He wasn't getting on the cart.
He's not getting on the cart, and he walks off. And I saw him as they're they got his arm in the cast and they're trying to stabilize it. He with his other good arm, his throwing arm, he goes like this, like he's mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, most guys in that situation, and not all of them, but a lot of them are crying, right? It's a lot of pain. You're in, and he was pissed. He wasn't, you know what I mean? Like he was upset. I'm pretty sure he cried at some point, but he was pissed. Like you could tell he was just mad that he got hurt, and you don't know how serious it is in the moment. The first thing, like, there's no silver lining necessarily. I think that's the wrong way to phrase it. But if there is like a way to look at it where you can still be glass half full, it wasn't one of his lower extremities, right? It wasn't his legs, right? And it wasn't his throwing arm.
Yeah.
So those were the things that we told ourselves.
Knew what it was when they ran over to him. They just know, from what I was told, they didn't know what it was. He was just hollering. He was screaming, so they didn't know what it was.
Yeah. No, when we were watching it, that was the thing that made us say, okay, there's hope. We don't know how bad it is, but it isn't his legs and it's not his throwing arm. So that was the minute you went, okay, take a deep breath, relax, calm down, because like my legs went numb for 2 minutes when I'm watching this live and I was paralyzed. Like I couldn't move. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe this just happened. And then you start thinking, obviously all hell breaks loose. Why was he in the game? Yada, all of that's going to happen. And you already know where it's going after that. And so a bad night turned worse. And now the season was over anyway, right? But having that injury happen in that manner really put everybody under the microscope, and it just opened up this even bigger can of worms. And I think that's kind of where we are right now, where everybody's being questioned. DQ's being questioned. Adam Peters is being questioned. Joe Witt Jr., which he's been being questioned all year long, and it's only getting worse after that performance. It's crazy because as bad as that performance was, nobody was talking about the game after the game was over.
Nope.
That was the least of anybody's concern. Nope. Like no one cared about the game at that point. It was horrible, and we didn't even have anything to say about the game. It was really about Jayden and what were your thoughts? Why did you keep him in there? Was there ever any thought of taking him out? And you could tell DQ was overwhelmed at that point. Like there was a lot going on with him right there because obviously they just got their brains bashed in, and that wasn't anywhere near the standard, right? I mean, like, I don't care. And I think I saw a tweet from you or a post or something, and I was like, this sums it up perfectly. And it was something to the effect of, look, there are injuries, and obviously that has taken a toll on his team, but there is no excuse for a performance like that, no matter what the circumstance is. And that sums up pretty much how everyone felt. Like, yeah, we're banged up, we're injured, they're the better team, they came in as the better team, we get all of that, but there was no fight, there was no resistance in that game. They had practice squad guys who hadn't played an NFL snap catching passes and running for touchdowns that we never heard of before. I mean, they had a rookie receiver that hadn't caught a pass in 2 weeks. He got 2 touchdowns in the first half and 2 touchdowns in the second quarter. So
yeah, I mean, it's I can say this with full confidence, and I don't think it would be an issue. Jayden wants to make this city so proud and so happy. So someone who covers him in real life, sees him in real life, knows that for a fact. It is hard, right? It's hard for me to hear anything about these people. Louie, you and I just met, and you've had me on your show. If somebody was talking trash about you on a regular basis, I would be like, somebody take my phone, because now I got to go in here and tell people what I really think about him, because you're not gonna talk about Louie T like that, because he's
That's right.
And I'm a, it's gonna be you're gonna be like, all right, take her phone. But like, so because I'm just that kind of person.
Right. Right.
I even saw people saying that DQ doesn't care about his players. He doesn't, and Darrell, my photographer, actually caught a photo of DQ holding Jayden's hand.
Yeah.
Because he was in pain.
Yeah.
Right. And so
that's the craziest thing I've ever heard, first and foremost.
Isn't it crazy?
If there's one thing we know about DQ, you can question his philosophies and you can question a lot of things about DQ. One thing you can't question is DQ the person. No. Like, this is the same guy that called F.A. Obata to check on him when he broke his ankle when he was a member of the Cowboys staff as their defensive coordinator. He didn't have to call F.A. Right. F.A. was a member of the Commanders. You didn't have to call him. You called him because that's who he is. That's the type of person he is. Anybody that you run into that knows Dan Quinn swears by Dan Quinn. Like, you can't question Dan Quinn, the man. Like, that's craziness.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm just, it's just it's people can love you one minute and despise you the next. And this week made me really see that.
And this is why I was telling you, Candy, this is the worst part about all of this. Nothing's out of bounds now. Nothing's out of bounds. You're going to see and hear everything.
And it's crazy because they're a year and a half into a recalibration. Last year was just a surge. And again, some of the challenges that we are seeing on defense, they were there last year.
That's right.
They were absolutely there.
They were masked by the offense.
Yes,
they didn't punt for weeks. This offense was one of the best in time of possession. This defense was hardly on the field. That's
right.
They didn't turn the ball over.
Right.
Like, this offense definitely covered up for the things that this defense did last season. Because the defense didn't force turnovers last year either. Nope. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like they were forcing turnovers.
Nope, they were missing tackles then too. That's why so many things came down to the wire.
That's right. That's right.
The defense wasn't stopping anybody.
We used to have a running joke that if we wanted to win a game last year, we had to make sure that Jayden and the offense had the ball last. So
that's right.
If we were in a game and we were winning and the team was driving for the game winning score, just let them score so Jayden can have the ball back so we have a chance to win.
Back to Jayden.
Right. So yeah,
I always laugh about my joke, right? Getting up from the Hail Mary. I'm like, I'm gonna sit here. I'm sitting down for the rest of this season. Yeah. And it worked. Yeah. You know what I mean? It worked for the most part, right? And so I'm like, it's working. And so because when the defense was on their last, the Steelers game, now Jayden was still kind of hurt on the Eagles game, right? And then in Dallas, what happened? It took them a while. It took the offense the whole first half to get going. I'm telling you, the answers were there. And if anybody was going to dig DQ on that, it maybe, we can get back to that conversation, but I just, if I could say anything here, please know that this team, Jayden Daniels, he loves this city. He loves playing in this city. For real. And the weight of the world is on this young man's shoulder because for some reason he keeps getting compared to RG3 and all these people. And that's just not who he is. It's not even who he is as a human, as a person.
Right.
And it's not.
And we know that.
Everybody knows that. And it's like, don't turn on these. Don't do that. Yeah. But it's just,
And see, and I hope Mama Jackson understands that you can't assume that every clown you run into on X talking crazy is actually a Commanders fan.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Because people are weird. They will have a whole Commanders thumbnail and be a Giants fan, a whole ass Giants fan, right?
Right.
Or a whole Bears fan talking crazy and presenting themselves as a Commanders fan. Like that's why I tell you, social media is not a real place. So understand that we love this man, and this is crazy, but we have put him on a pedestal because we haven't had anything like him before. Not Robert Griffin III wasn't even this. No. His hype was huge that first year, But Jayden took us to the NFC Championship game in his rookie season. Like Robert started 3-6.
Right.
We thought the season was over. Mike Shanahan said we are evaluating for next season. Jayden had us 7-2 out the gate.
That was Jayden. That's right. Yes.
The two are not the same. And don't get me started on him as a person.
Oh, yeah. Him as a person, I can guarantee you all know, that I know this. That's why I'm like, look, man, I mean, you can't hear, you're not going to hear from the other quarterback, you're not going to hear his teammates say, okay. And so that above all else should be no bearing on the comparison at all. Because when I tell you the locker room, they couldn't, the loss was already bad enough. But that locker room, they were heartbroken. You know, one of my media colleagues in the media scrum, they asked Marcus Mariota about, well, presumably, you know, you're going to be the starter going forward. This is right after the game. And he's like, hey, listen, you know, just all due respect, I can't think about that right now because we got to focus on Jay. We got to focus on Jay. We got to focus on Luke Marshall. All these guys that got hurt tonight, our teammates. We got to focus there. I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
They were heartbroken walking around. They were just.
I can only imagine.
And Jayden was emotional. So whatever y'all think what emotional looks like or feels like. Yep. Did he do all that when he was out there? Nope. But yes, because he loves playing football. He loves playing for the Washington Commanders, and he does not want to. I know he was trying to make a play.
Yeah.
He was trying to make a play. And it just, you know, and he was just so, like you said, he was so angry. Even if you see the hug and how he embraced, how Bobby was talking to him after he got up. And it was like, you know, I could even feel, because knowing how they are together, and especially those two, the way he kind of just put his head, you know, on Bobby, like he just was like, he was just exhausted. Like he's just like exhausted from this. This is somebody who hasn't even really dealt with injuries.
Right.
And so it's like your knee, then your hamstring, now your elbow. And it's like, what? You know, if anybody wants to play, it's him.
Right.
You know, all the time. Remember when they all reported back? I think they showed a thing on the team page. Jayden jumped out of his car and ran in the building.
Yeah, that was for the start of training camp.
Yeah, when the veterans had to return back to the facility, he jumped out of his car. I was like, did he even put the car in park? Like, it was like a joke when I got there. Jay, did you put that car in park? Because it looked like it might have still been rolling a little bit. He's like, I don't know. It's just, you know, he was happy to be there. And so it's Jayden got them out of so many jams last year. And it is abundantly clear that he did, and this offense did. And the defense had these problems last year. They did. They did. But it's getting worse, which makes me feel like when I talk to them, I don't think they've checked out, but it's like how it looks like you checked out.
When you say them, you talking about the players?
Defense, yes.
Yeah.
Or like you're just like, oh, this call ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just do it anyway. All right.
Right. So that's perfect segue to where I want to go. And I got a lot of stuff I want to ask you.
Yeah.
We'll start with Joe Witt Jr. being summoned down to the sidelines, because that's what this is. There's no way this is going to change anything, right? This just feels like them again. And I started, the show by saying, insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. And so this is them just same thing. Like you just said, there's a difference between aggression and desperation. This feels like desperation, because even DQ's explanation for changing, he explains it like really being up in the press box is where you should be because you have a better vantage point. You can see the substitutions, you can see the coverages.
Oh my God. Sorry, I'm like, my face is saying everything.
Yeah, like you're literally giving us the reasons why he should be in the press box or up above, not on the field. Then he's like, yeah, well, you got to communicate this, that, and the third. I'm like, none of that is going to change the product that we're seeing on the field. But okay, whatever. And so do you think that he would make a change after the season is over? Because the defense isn't going to get any better.
Yes, I do think he would.
So the next question then is the candidate that he would replace him with, do you think that guy is in-house already?
I don't know. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. No, I don't think
you don't think so?
I don't. But that's on my list.
Yeah.
Of things to find out.
Well, we're gonna send you on a fact-finding mission.
Oh yeah, this fact-finding mission has been something. I told you, I think I might have mentioned it here or somewhere. I said, oh, after the Dallas game, I said, well, guess I gotta really do my job now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I know that was here. You said that here.
Yes, I said, whoa, you're gonna make me really earn my money. Okay, I'm really gonna earn my paycheck with this one because the travel was so horrific. I was like, at least everybody got here safely. But it was so horrific. I'm like, listen, if this goes bad, this goes all the way south, I got to really do my job now. You know, I'm joking, but I really like seriously though. I'm like, okay, yep, pedal to the metal, let's get it. Because this ain't no way is this going well. So I was there though week 4. I'm gonna keep going back to week 4 when you talk about that defense because I unraveled myself very early in the season on that. And I will say, even the deep digging into what was going on happened week 7, should have happened week 4. Coming down from the booth should have happened week after week 4. For real. Like, I mean,
and you know what happened? Week 5 gave everybody a false sense of hope.
In LA. In LA, he did. There we go again. He just, you know, but you just. And I know, you know, DQ gives me the sense that he's not like a micromanager. I look at myself that way. You don't want to be a micromanager, but hey, if you want to build on what you did, we're just going by what you said. You want to build, you don't want to do what you did last year, but you want to build on that. Well, it was abundantly clear in week 4 that you're not building on that. That has gone down the tubes. You've regressed. You're not building from that because that doesn't even look like it did in December when you played those same offensive weapons. Yes, it's a new year, but they're acting like they know you, and you're not acting like you know them.
Right.
And I've been a little like, what's going on here? And you know this because you and I talk about like, nah, Louie, that ain't. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. Okay, that's the week they should have. All of the changes should have happened straight up.
So when we look at this season, DQ is now under a microscope because of the way things have gone.
Yeah.
Whether they're his fault or not, he's in control of everything because he's the head coach. And I feel like we've gotten to a point now where fans are questioning everything, as I mentioned. And DQ to me is a really good leader of men, I believe, personally. I think he does a really good job of motivating, getting people to focus on a task at hand. You asked him the question about the mantras and what happened to those. And really didn't think he answered the question, to be honest. Like, I think his answer was more so of those things don't work when you're not playing well, is essentially what I gathered from that. They're still saying those things in the building, but last year, those were things that were being said outwardly as well. Like, we saw the phrases plastered all over the wall, and that was a way of life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They talked about winning time moments. You heard that 50 million times last year. I haven't heard winning time moments other than DQ saying it. And that was maybe early in the season. I haven't heard winning time because we ain't been in any winning time moments. So it's hard to keep saying that when that's not something that is coming to fruition. You haven't heard ball is life. Why? We don't force any turnovers. How can ball be life when we are dead? If ball is life, we're dead. Or on life support at a minimum, right? And then you can't say anybody, anytime, anywhere, because you're going on the road. Last year, we beat teams on the road. We went on the road, right? We were excellent at home. Like, it didn't matter where the game was. We were about it. This year, you getting stomped out at home. You getting stomped out on the road. You going on primetime getting embarrassed. You're 0-4 on primetime this year. God forbid they don't flex the Denver game after the bye week.
They got to.
They got to get us out of there, man. They got to get us off of that. We can't get out of the Christmas game with Dallas on Netflix. We probably can't get out of the Saturday game with Philadelphia. That's another one late in the season. We're on Hard Knocks. Like, who wants to watch that now? At least if Jayden was healthy, at least there was still a storyline, somebody they could follow. What do you think? What is Hard Knocks going to do for a month late in the season in December, into January?
Yeah, it might be a little more interesting and spicy with the rest of the division, but
the rest of the division stinks. I mean, at least Dallas made some trades, but they're not going to the playoffs, just like we're not going to the playoffs, and the Giants stink too. I mean, it's just the Eagles that are any good.
Yeah, I don't know what they was thinking. I mean, it sounded like a good idea first at the beginning.
At the beginning, because of Jayden and us going to the NFC Championship game, Philadelphia, you know they're going to be good. Dallas is going to be back with Dak Prescott healthy. So it sounded good.
It sounded real good. It did. It did. It did.
So DQ today, he was asked about balancing wanting to win now and having to start preparing for the future. And his response was, you want to do both. To me, where you are in this season, and I already know that so this is my belief. I can't confirm nor deny this, Candi. This is just me drawing inferences. This is what I do best. I draw inferences, whether right or wrong. I don't think they've gotten to the point of the realization of where their season is. When you're at the trade deadline, you have to have the ability to live in your truth, right? Those are the only teams that can make moves at the trade deadline, because you either got to realize we're not going anywhere this year, like the Jets did, like the Raiders did, and trade off commodities that they have, because our season isn't going anywhere. You have to admit that to yourself. Like they did back in 2023 when they traded Montez Sweat and Chase Young. What did they do? They admitted to themselves. Ron Rivera didn't want that. He knew he was going to get fired if that happened. Jack Del Rio didn't want it. But guess what? Josh Harris had an analytics team come in here and say, can we maximize these guys now or in the offseason? They said, you have to do it now. And so they traded Montez Sweat and they traded Chase Young. And that signaled to the rest of the team and the staff, you're done. You're done. We're punting on this season. We're out of this thing, right? So I don't think they came to the realization of we're done at 3-6.
No. I can confirm that.
I figured as much, because the moves that they're making are moves that teams make that still think they've got a realistic shot. And I was looking for, can we trade Debo? Can we trade Deron Payne? Can we trade Quan Martin? Can we trade anybody that had any value? And I'm not sure if anybody around the league wanted any of those guys or not. Not sure if the phone rang. But I bet if it did ring, they were rebuffing calls, because they still haven't necessarily come to the realization this is our reality. This is where we at. And to me, that stunts the growth of the young guys. You can't be in trying to win mode and trying to find out who can help moving forward. Those two things do not mesh well. All right. They don't coincide with one another. Because if you're trying to win, Zach Ertz has to play. He gives you the best shot. But if we trying to figure out if Ben Simmons is really a second round pick tight end, or do we need to go get somebody, you got to put him in the game. You got to throw him the football. We got to see what he can do. I'm not interested in Sheldon Day being signed to the active roster. Sheldon Day is not a part of this team moving forward as a cog that's going to help us win. Show me what Ricky Barber can do on the practice squad. Why was Ja'Cory Brooks here all summer running with the ones in the summertime if you just going to go get Robbie Chosen and you going to go get Chris Moore and have those guys who are 32 years old taking reps? Make it make sense to me, Candi.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, on my Josh Harris. Hey, listen, like, look, week 4, I would have shut it. I would have been like, hey, fix this. You need to do this, 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 and this. But that's me. And that's how week 4. Because if you're trying to build, you got to already know and using your clues that this doesn't look like, whoa, we're not going to do, we not looking like this. You know, Dan Quinn is so loyal. I could see that. He's so loyal.
I worry about that. I worry about that, Candi. That's why I asked you, you think he really going to fire Joe Witt Jr. if it comes to that?
I mean, I don't think, I mean, yeah, you kind of got to. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, it's loyalty can be a gift and a curse. Mm-hmm. And those of us who are very loyal people know that. But it's like you're operating in a way, you know, I can tell you another clue, you know, the final medical meeting, you know, the next medical meeting to see what Jayden. I can guarantee you somebody said, this is my speculation. So let me not say guarantee. This is my speculation. Somebody said something that they didn't want to hear. When the reality is, you probably should just shut him down for the season.
I was going to ask you. That was going to be my next question. Why hasn't he already done that yet?
Because they
haven't come to the realization that your season is done.
You can.
Shut him down.
I would have felt a lot better about some of this had they not lost to Chicago, maybe split Dallas and Kansas City. You know, one or the other. Then I wouldn't be saying any of this, but
the season feels different if they beat Chicago. You're 4-5 right now.
Oh yeah. You got hope.
Yeah, you're 4-5 right now. That Chicago loss was the beginning of the end.
3 injuries in. It's week 9 going into week 10. I'm shutting him down if it's me, but it's not me. You know, so I'm like, and that could be the overprotective person. Like, nope, just shut it all down. But you see. You know, you're going back to the trade day or during deadline. Mm-hmm. Teams that made moves were very similar to like a Commanders last year, 6-2. Right. Yep. You know, because of their record, where we're weakest, we're gonna, you know, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna keep doing this because they believe they were gonna still be on that you know that leg, and so they already knew Marshawn was gonna be injured, but he could be back.
Right.
Now we're gonna make a run at the end of the season, and it worked. Mm-hmm. It worked. Challenge is you're not 6-2 right now. You're not 6-2 right now at all. And you don't have a healthy team at all. Mm-hmm. And you just every week is something. And you're completely depleted at your wide receiver group. Completely. And other groups, you completely depleted at pass rush. And you need receivers in the pass rush if you want to go anywhere in this league. So it could be a potential degree of just stubbornness. I don't know. You know, sometimes it's like people want to be right. They want to go, and it's like, hey, you got to be able to stand on defeat. And maybe you just didn't. And maybe it's not just like losing, like I lost. Like, hey, we didn't show up. We didn't do this right. And in a lot of ways, other than special teams, in my opinion, both sides of the ball don't look like they did last year. I'm not seeing, because I've even heard folks say, oh, Cliff interviewing for a job, he gonna get another job. Where?
Cliff will be back next year.
Where?
Unless he want to go to college.
Unless he wants to leave. Yeah. Where is he going? Because this isn't an interview. This isn't an interview. This isn't good film.
Yeah.
Not in my opinion. You can't say, oh, well, Jayden was in and out and you didn't have any wide receivers. You had running backs and you didn't use them when you could have. Yeah. And all you could have. One of the things that I know I said back to you during the summer, I want to say it again. I said, well, I sure hope nobody gets hurt. Right. But then I definitely said, hey, I'm looking at the draft picks. I'm looking last year, this year. What are you doing? How are they doing? And it's just not looking like the preparedness is there. Now, going back to the question that I asked Coach Quinn about the mantras, while people may have thought that was a small thing, I thought it was a very big thing because, like you said, the mantras is something that they were always, you saw it. They said it all the time, and then how they showed up on game day, you saw it. Now, I tried to put two questions into one. That's why it was so long. It took me like a minute to get it out. But I'm like, listen, you were mad in New England. Yep. And we've seen you mad all season. So they haven't been hitting the mark all season long. That anger started in August.
Right. And it's crazy that you bring that up because we ran through stop signs and red lights in the summertime. Like, it was so easy to just be like, oh, the starters ain't
playing. And I said, I think there's an issue.
Yeah.
I wanted this an issue. Something's not right. Because I said, even if the veterans are the standard, why hasn't the standard trickled down? What's going on here? What's going on here? Because it looks the same. And DQ is still mad. So I'm just a different kind of person. It would only take me one more time in the regular season to be that mad. I'm telling you, it would have been week 4. I keep saying it like, hey, you can't make me mad too many times on the same thing. No. Because I was mad like this in the preseason. He was pissed. I came on your show that next week. Remember, you was like, I've never seen him like that. I was like, no.
Yeah, he was heated.
He was heated. And he been heated like that all season long. Everybody's talking about they never seen him that mad. He's been mad like this all season.
All season. Because we been getting embarrassed all season. We been getting embarrassed all season long.
He was standing up there. And that's when I knew from a head coach Quinn perspective, his expectations were like, we have to play like this. This is everybody up in here. Mm-hmm. Well, everybody up in here isn't playing like that. And if they not playing like that and it's your depth, then that must mean your starter's not playing like that. Now, I don't know what's going on here because I know what you look like in camp and it looked pretty good. But if we go back to camp, I always say the burgundy and gold scrimmage day. That was a hard day for the offense. Yeah. Now, there's a few things for consideration that, we would have to think about. Maybe we don't go into that just yet. Maybe we're going to that just yet. But there's some things that I know that you and I have talked about, and we've said a bit about this, talking about the depth, going back to the draft and, all of those things, that some things need to really be what's going on here. Because it feels like as soon as everybody figured you out, you had nothing. As soon as Jayden got hurt and everybody just figured you out, you had nothing. You had no more moves. And I always go back to the Thursday night Green Bay game when on offense, several of the players said, hey, I just, felt like we got out schemed. It was like they knew what we were doing and all that, and I'm like, sometimes you got to research too, who knows who and who knows what, or maybe they don't even need to know you. They just watch the tape, watch the film.
Well, you dropped a bombshell on me. I think it was either 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and then you said it again last week. And that was news to me. And that's also very damning, if you ask me. That's a very damning thing to hear somebody say. When you said Dak Prescott said that's the same defense that we played against in practice the last 3 years.
It was in the transcript. It was in the transcript. But I knew it. See, some things I'll tell y'all, and I'll just say like I did. I can confirm that. Or they know these people. They've been having issues with the Cowboys the whole time they all been here.
Yeah. But that speaks to not changing up the things that you do.
They haven't changed it. And see, what was interesting, Marcus Mariota shared something in preparation for the Kansas City Chiefs where he was talking about Coach Spags, the defensive coordinator. He was like, they change up every year. They change up.
That's what good coordinators do. They don't give you the same looks all the time. That's why Todd Bowles is so good for so long, because you don't know where the blitz is coming from.
They thought Jayden was going to get him out of everything like he did last year.
And that's why I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about DQ and his staff because
I like DQ now. I like him a lot.
Here's what I need from DQ because this is the thing. You can't be a defensive-minded coach and your defense isn't good. You can't be an offensive-minded head coach and your offense isn't good. That's not allowed.
Right. I definitely think that because let me tell you, the Seattle Seahawks, Mike McDonald, we're familiar with him at Bowie TV because he covered him when he was the Ravens defensive coordinator and he coached like he's a defense. His team looked like he's a defensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sean McVay, you will never catch the Rams slipping on offense. You just won't do it.
So I think it's the loyalty. He's a good man. He's a great man, and the loyalty. And sometimes the loyalty is the gift and the curse. But this is a different group of people, that paid a lot of money and is spending a lot of money to build a new stadium, and they want to do it with these individuals. The core individuals is what I'm saying. GM, head coach, quarterback. But I think what we're saying. I think what we're saying is that a year and a half into a recalibration, and you took this second year and you took a nosedive. Like this is because everything I kept saying, even in a culture change, it was like you went up so fast. But how did that make you think that everything was okay?
Right. That was definitely a gift and a curse.
Absolutely.
Winning in year one the way that they did, because
I always said the Hail Mary and making it to the NFC Championship was the gift and the curse for this franchise. It really was, because it made everybody forget. You got your quarterback, and that's all. It was like you didn't have to do anything else. And
DQ can't bring him back. He knows that, right? I hope he knows that. Like, you already made a mistake, and I applaud him for coming back the next day and owning it. That took a lot to be able to come there and say, "Hey, that one's on me. I missed the mark." Right? That takes a big person to be able to say, "Hey, that was on me, man. I messed that one up." But you can't do it twice. This is why I don't understand why Jayden's not already on IR with his season done. I don't care if this team has a chance to make the playoffs, which it won't. You thought that last week was bad? The Lions it's gonna look 10 times worse what the Lions finna do to us on Sunday.
Talking about what dinner was gonna be. I was like, what do y'all think they're gonna serve in the press box? Like, my whole shift is like, and I want people to know I'm not, you all know, and I hope you all, if you're just meeting me, please know I'm not a negative person at all. I am a realist.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not here to sell hope. I think I said that somewhere. I'm no longer here to sell hope. I saw things and I shared things in the preseason. Louie knows this about me. I ask questions. I asked so many different questions. And now you can really see some of the questions that I've asked earlier in the season. It's like, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is why I asked. It's week 9 going in. It's week 10 now. You needed more draft picks. But hey,
which is why I wanted them at the trade deadline to be sellers and to entertain calls about anything you had that anybody was interested in. But they haven't come to the realization that at 3-6 with your quarterback out, that your season is done.
Yeah, they definitely are holding on to that.
Candi, they lost by 21 or more points 3 straight weeks. What are they thinking, Candi? Did they watch the first half of the game last week or not?
I'm not sure, and I'm not sure, and that's why I'm just like
it'd be one thing if these were close games, and you like Arizona, for instance, they lost 5 straight games by like 4 points or less on the final possession of the game, and you're like, man, if we make a play here, make a play, I get it. If that were our existence, we're getting our doors blown off every week.
People are still getting injured. I mean, Quan and Tyler were on the side field today.
We're on the dang on injury report this week.
They were on the side field today, so they're injured. Well, Quan was injured in the game. I
thought it was his shoulder. I didn't know it was his hamstring.
It was his hamstring. I did post that now, Louie. I did, so you might have missed that.
Okay, I did miss that.
It was 6 injuries. It was 6. Because we know Marshawn is out, Luke, Jayden, Quan, Trey had
with the hip.
And Eddie Goldman, but I think Eddie's all right. He was evaluated for a concussion. And let me be clear, that has no bearing on what happened in the game. I'm just saying, in terms of the injuries.
But you just adding to the point that we've made, which is you're not getting healthier, you're getting worse from a health standpoint, which is making it that much harder for you to be competitive. Why would you think that the season's still within, grasp, right? Like still within reach of you turning things around? You're not getting better, you're getting worse. You're not getting better health-wise, you're getting worse. I hope they don't think that Terry coming back, Noah coming back, Will Harris coming. I hope they don't think these guys are going to save them.
Mm-mm.
Which is why I'm like, hey, dude, you already made one mistake. Don't compound that. Don't exacerbate the problem by having Jayden still be eligible to come back. Just put this man on IR. Why are we even having the day of the injury, that night when he hit the press conference and they asked him about it, he's like, I haven't thought about it yet. Okay, I get that. Right, I understand. You came back the next day. You had enough time to think about everything. You came back. You said, hey, I made a mistake. Is at that point where when that question was posed to him, somebody asked him to the effect of, hey, hypothetically speaking, if Jayden were to be able to come back, is there any thought to just putting him on IR ending this season? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I haven't gotten that far yet. What do you mean you haven't gotten that far yet? Yeah, what do you mean?
IR. I think they'll end up doing that.
That makes absolutely no sense. And he should be on IR already.
He's a minimum of 4 games, so it's not like he can't come back. I mean, he could. Just for
he should be on IR on a short term. At a minimum, he should be on short term IR already.
Because there's a buy in there. Hey, come back in December. Whatever. But I mean, if that,
I would prefer him and Terry to be done this season.
I mean, why not? I would just do that.
Because I don't want anybody getting hurt and having to rehab in the offseason. This is what got us in this nonsense in the first place, that Terry wasn't available. The whole defensive thing, the defense looked good because the offense was that bad this summer because nobody was practicing. So the defense looked good.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't want to deal with that this year. Put Terry on IR. Put Jayden on IR. Make sure that these dudes are healthy when they start OTAs so they can start getting this work. You think Debo gonna be back or no? Or you think you need to see the rest of this season to see how it goes to determine if they're gonna bring him back?
I need to talk to him. I need to see.
Yeah, I think after the first 5 weeks, it was a consensus. Yeah, bring him back. I think now you just need to see how the rest of this season goes.
And he's hurt.
Yeah, we know the heel ain't right.
Well, when I saw them put him back there in returns last week, I said, "Wow."
I was hoping. Remember, we talked about this. I was hoping they would put him back there against Kansas City.
I mean, if you were gonna, would you go do it this for now? That was my point. That's why I was like, this is a desperation move because he's still dealing with an injury. If you were going to do it, you should have did it in Kansas City when he was mad and irate at himself for the turnover. Oh. Do it back there because now he's gonna run angry. He's gonna score. But the heel was a problem then, so okay, all of a sudden it's not a problem this week. All right, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Like you said, that was desperation. No, now there's no Luke.
it was one moment where like I turned around and looked, and Donna, Lake, and Felix were all looking down at me, and they were like, "Your face." They were like, "We should have taken a picture." They were like, "Your face looked so like." It's just, look, if I feel this way, I can't imagine what Dan Quinn feels like. At the same token, I would have been like, "Hey, you upstairs, come down here right now. Come down to the field right now. You got to get down here right now. One more miscommunication. Don't even worry about it, because a miscommunication is gonna happen. Just come on down. Come on down. Come on down here. Let me holler at you. Stand down." Like, because I'm just like, and that could be reactionary. You know, please let me be clear. I'm not trying to make it like I know more than Dan Quinn. It's just I have a different approach. But my approach might feel more reactionary or more emotional or whatever the case may be. And it's like, you know, I want to go. It's like everybody's trying to be a hero or save it. You know, they talked a little bit about that, and I've heard that is, you know, guys are trying to be a hero. You know, just stay in your spot. You don't let go of the technique. What are you trying to be a hero? Everybody's here trying to be a hero.
I didn't even like that whole comment about Mikey and Quan. Like, that's not why. I'm sorry, DQ. I'm not buying that. It's not like a technique thing. Like, first of all, okay, I know this group didn't draft Quan, but they swore by Quan when they got here.
Loved Quan.
They loved Quan Martin last year. They thought the world of this guy. They didn't. DQ didn't even talk about him taking the ball away. He talked about him tackling.
Yeah, he's missing tackles, so they keep talking about the tackling. Yeah, they keep talking about the tackling.
When he was drafted, we were sold on Quan Martin's ability to play over the slot, because he had cornerback background and his ability to take the ball away. He had 3 interceptions his final year at Illinois. So he was supposed to be a ball hawk safety and a guy that could cover, in addition to being able to tackle and do all of the stuff that and had some speed, ran sub 4.540. So we were supposed to see all of this stuff, and we ain't seen hardly any of it. And for me,
not this year. We haven't seen it this year.
It's been so frustrating.
Yeah.
And Mikey, you can't tell me that Mikey's over trying or this, that, and the third. Mikey's being put in positions.
He's in the wrong spot.
You're putting Mikey in positions to fail.
I think
Nick Saban called Mike Sainristil pound for pound the best player in the draft. He didn't just forget how to play football.
Yeah.
Even the interception he got, he was beat on that play. That was a bad throw by Sam Darnold.
It was absolutely bad. He is really interesting, because I was like, I asked about Mikey early in the season. Then I'm telling you, week 4 was it for me. I was just like, I think week 3, week 4, I asked about Mikey, and I asked about, you know, and I know Donna asked today about, you know, putting, you know, everything with Marshawn being out. But what I said to her and I talked about that afterwards, and he said, "You're on the right track," and all that, and that was fantastic. But I told her, I said, but Donna, why did Marshawn have to get hurt in order for these moves to be made? I said, because remember, I asked about Mikey, and I said, you know, and I tried to smooth it over, which was kind of like, you know, this is where he was last year. You've used him in some different spots. Is there any consideration to going back to what you did last year? That's all I said.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we had him in the Buffalo nickel yesterday, and da 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 da. Okay. Put him back. Does anybody hear my question? All right. Okay. And you thought he improved. Okay, well, improved doesn't mean good. And I always tell people that. Okay, you improved. That doesn't mean that he did good. That means you were better than you were last week, which, I mean, okay, if you on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, and you were 1 last week and you were 3 this week, then
you're better. Technically speaking, you're better.
You did improve. You did improve. But yeah, it just none of it, it just doesn't make sense, because then it just felt like what worked well last year, they're just not doing at all. And what would work well this year, they're not doing at all. So I'm like, I don't know. what they're doing. And so every day I'm like, yeah, but they think they're still gonna, win something. I don't know. So
That's the problem I have.
yeah, I know you're stuck there. You're stuck there.
Like, you're not winning anything at 3-6 with 3 straight losses of 21 points or more.
It probably wasn't a good business move or thing for me, but I didn't post. I don't think I posted anything yesterday. Oh, I think I posted about Frankie, the appeal, the suspension being overturned. But I didn't post anything about no trade, the trade deadline or anything, because I already knew.
Right.
I already knew they're not doing it. I knew that.
Everybody knew they weren't doing anything. It doesn't make us any less disappointed.
It was like, okay, yeah, they're not doing anything. I didn't even the signings that they did. I was like, okay, I just won't be a good reporter today because I'm not posting that either. So
and it didn't make
shade to anybody. I think they're all tremendous people, but I'm just saying it didn't make sense to me.
It didn't. Those moves didn't move the needle at all. Like Asante Samuel Jr. is out here healthy now, looking for a team, looking for work. And did they reach out to him? Again, I don't know that. I don't know if they reached out to his contacts to see if he was interested in coming here, working out, whatever. But that's a guy. He's 26 years old. That's a guy you should be interested in. You don't. Your future corners aren't on the roster. No, Igbenogany's not going to be back next year. Marshawn Lattimore's not going to be back next year. This whole Jonathan Jones isn't going to be back next year. You literally have 2 corners.
Very
2
nice.
corners. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss.
Yeah, it's not good. And so it's just, and all I keep thinking, remember back in June, when did we meet? We didn't meet until July, you and I. But maybe in June, I think I might have asked Coach Quinn about the expectations. Like, it's June, Coach. Like in a press conference, I asked him, what do y'all think about all the attention? Because I think I did tell you once we met, it's like, I don't like all this attention.
Right.
I don't like all this attention. I just think it's not good.
Yeah, it comes with the territory, right? Like you want to be good. That's the thing. I told you my last bit of PTSD, right? So just so you are aware, PTSD is post Dan Snyder disorder. That's what we suffer from as Commanders fans. So PTSD, my last bit of it was seeing this team be successful 2 years in a row. And they hadn't done that. Like, because it's easy for us when nobody's checking for us, we're under the radar, right? Like no one's circling us on the calendar. You can sneak up on somebody and get them. You're playing a 3rd place schedule. Like all of these things, fall in your favor, and we took advantage of it last year. Now you're playing a 2nd place schedule. You have teams circling you on the calendar. You think Detroit, like Jared Goff said today in his press conference. Like I'm gonna read you what he said.
Who? Jared Goff?
Jared Goff says, we have added motivation to beat Washington after the playoff loss.
Absolutely.
You didn't think they was?
I mean, that's something that I went around to everybody, not everybody, coaches last year, not in June. And it was like, y'all do know that there are 3 teams. I mean, so the division gonna be the division, but there are 3 teams that's out for blood. I said Atlanta, Chicago, and Detroit. All of them coming for you, and they all kind of laughed, everybody, and some of them laughed, and some of them were like, "You right, yeah." I mean, do you have an answer for this? Because, woo, do you have an answer for this? And hey, if they had an answer for the first 2, then you just deal with the loss anyway against Detroit, okay? Because that's what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And so it's just you just deal with it. And hey, they went into your house and stole everything in the divisional round at full strength, right? Ready to roll, and they rolled you. And now it doesn't matter, because people can always say, "Oh, but they didn't have Jayden, they didn't have this, they don't care."
Right. They don't care about none of that.
They don't care about whether or not the team had injuries or not. Did they beat you? Yes. And if they beat you bad enough, this could be whoa.
And that's what I said. Like, I don't know if it's going to take them getting smoked by the Lions next week for him to realize that it's over, but it's over, bro.
I
And
mean,
at some
maybe
point, you got to acknowledge that.
You know, maybe they just trying to hold tight to the bye. That's all I could gather. But then I don't know what you're gonna do because it's still like what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks?
Yeah, it's still. We still have 7 games after next week. We got 8. We got 8 games left going into Sunday. It's 7 games left after this game on Sunday.
So then after the bye is 6 games, right? Yeah, 6 weeks.
You have Denver, then Minnesota, then the Giants, then the Eagles twice, and the Cowboys.
Yeah, 6 weeks. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to be sightseeing a lot when I go to,
Madrid.
Madrid. Have you ever been there? Like,
I have not, and I feel so bad for everyone who bought tickets.
Oh, I do know people who have told me they've canceled their trip.
Are you able to get a refund? That's the problem with that is the airline ain't giving you. They don't care that Jayden Daniels got hurt.
Credit, but they'll
give you flight credit, but you got to use that by a certain amount of time.
Exactly.
And
they have flight credit.
Yeah, like
no, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, look, I don't blame them.
It's sold out. The game is sold out. They're sold out. We had a call with the NFL. What was that? Yesterday? All the days running together. And they got all these fan events, but most of them are kind of more Dolphins centric because they're the home team.
Correct.
And so I'm just gonna go. I mean, I'm going at this point so I don't get fined. That's because that's kind of the conversation I was having with people. I'm like, what should I do? They're like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I'm like, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football? Did you? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going. Don't worry about it. Oh, you were asking, did you still need to go? You don't want to? And I'm like, I'm just looking out for the budget. I was making them out just all right, we're gonna go and have fun in Madrid. And so I've never been to Spain, so I'm trying to,
I think it's gonna be a dope experience for people who haven't been.
Yeah, I've never been there.
And so like that's for you covering the team, like you're not this diehard fan, so you're gonna enjoy the experience. Like this, Jayden getting injured only changes how you cover the game. It doesn't change your experience in Madrid, right? If I'm a fan that bought tickets to come to this game to experience Madrid, but more importantly, to experience 5 in Madrid.
Yeah.
I want no parts of this. And the team stinks, by the way. Like I'm probably not getting Terry. I'm not getting Jayden. Debo's hurt. Like there's nothing here to see. You know what I mean? This defense is awful. Like the Dolphins stink and they're looking at us like food. This is a chance for them to eat. They're looking at us like, hey, we can get us the win here.
So with that being said, I'm like, hey, maybe how people start playing when they know they're gonna get fired or they think something's gonna get. That's what everybody needs to start doing around here. Because I'm pretty sure that's what Miami's gonna do in Madrid.
Well, they gonna have a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And so I was just like, I was like, if anybody has any recommendations, please let me know. And I was just like, and they think I'm being a jerk. I'm not being a jerk. I'm not a jerk. So I'm not being one. I just gotta talk about something else to keep me, if you're gonna do as much coverage during the week as possible. So a lot of our coverage will be during the week.
Yeah.
So just, but like game day, like this is hey man.
How many media members are going on this trip?
I think quite a bit of us are going.
Okay.
I think a good bit of us are going.
Okay.
And some are going to the Lions game because they're going there. So, I guess
they're like, yeah, I'll skip out on this.
Actually kind of smart, but
Yeah. Well, look, you have no reason to go to the Lions game on Sunday.
I mean,
if there was ever one to miss, it'd be on Sunday. That's the one to miss.
I was like, oh, that's smart. And so we're going out there early.
Prepare. When are you guys leaving?
I'm leaving Monday.
Okay.
I'm leaving Monday.
Afternoon. You shouldn't.
So,
and it's a late game, ain't it? It's a 4:30. You shouldn't go to that game.
So I'm leaving on Monday, but I won't get there till Tuesday morning. I think like Donna and Lake, they don't get there. Somebody else don't get there till like Wednesday. I think everybody else gets there like Tuesday and some on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm just going for the experience and the vibes. And like somebody was like, "Oh, the sangria." I was like, the sangria was dangerous. And I was like, "Well, what's wrong with it?" Because sometimes I can get a little like, "Huh?" Yeah. They were like, "No," in a good way. I was like, "Well, sign me up," because like, woo. So I will have a lot of stuff during the week because I'm just like, I don't, I didn't ask any questions in the presses today because I'm like,
no, you didn't. Donna had the last one. I was waiting for my Candy question at the end, and he was like 2 more, and then I forget who had the second to last question, and then Donna had the last one. I was like, I guess Candy ain't going today.
Somebody tired of the questions I've been asking lately, so I said I'm gonna give it to Donna. I'm gonna just pass.
Well, she asked a good question because she asked a question about the cornerback room, so which was valid. So
all valid. But I just feel like some changes would have been made and more emphasis on the run earlier in the season. Maybe this would
we haven't. And you know what? We're going to take a quick break, get away from a sponsor, come back. I want to talk about what in your mind is next. I also want to bring up something. You just jogged my memory on something, so I want to bring something up. And we'll do that after this quick break. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, so you jogged my memory before that break, and you talked about running the ball more. Cliff had Jayden get under center for this game quite a bit, and it was successful. And they did a lot of tosses. I remember Robert doing that with Alfred Morris, where they would do these little tosses out of the. It's just an easier way to get to like an outside zone or something like that. Instead of him running out there to give it to him, you just toss it to him. And then they were able to run boot off of that. They got it to John Bates, and it ended up being a pretty sizable play. And a lot of people were complaining about not getting under center after Jayden fumbled that shotgun snap against Chicago.
Yep.
We saw a little bit of this last year, especially when it came, because we used that play on 4th down to John Bates. And a lot of that was the naked last year where Jayden would fake the handoff, boot out, and really just have to run for the first down himself. And I'd say I never want to see that play again unless you're going to have him throw the football to somebody, have an actual target he can get it to. Because I thought they were going to do that same play where Jayden was going to have to run, and Seattle was ready for it. Luckily enough, Bates was there. He got it to him, big gain. Why didn't we see that earlier? Why didn't we see him under center? Why didn't we see the run game from under center? When you get under center, it opens up so much more of the offense in the field. Why didn't we see more of that earlier, Candy? Maybe you can ask Cliff that tomorrow. Like, Cliff, I saw you had Jayden under center in this game, and it had some success. Why didn't we see that? And I know you gotta clean it up, make it nice, and but I'm curious. Are you not curious about that?
Well, he didn't do it the whole game.
No, he did it. So there was about maybe 6 or 7 plays.
At the very beginning. Yep.
Yes.
I said, I was like, oh, look at Jayden under center.
Under center. And I thought it was gonna be like 1 or 2 times. He got under center about 5, 6, 7 plays, and I was shocked. And then they used it on the 4th and 1 and got it to Bates. And it worked. Like
Mm-hmm.
even the runs were good runs, productive runs out of that under center, formation.
They don't stick with it just like they do everything else.
Did that not make you wonder why they hadn't gone to that earlier in the season?
Yeah, but I had a list of those things. Like, so that's one in the run. And that's what I said. I was like, there's nothing making sense to me. Like, I don't know. I don't like being confused, Louie. I mean,
None of us do. None of us do.
I like being confused. When I like it when I said, oh, I've seen this. Yeah. And I also don't like it when I say something that I know people don't want to hear, and I was right about it.
Yeah.
And it's been both of that. I've either been confused or something that I said, and I was like, this is not gonna be good. And it happens in real life. And that's what
came to fruition.
That's what. Like it took to week 9. Okay. And why does everybody think they got all the time in the world? That's what I can't figure out. I'm like, it's almost like they just we're gonna turn it on in week 10. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
And so it's like, what is going on? It's wow. And so even with that, it's like, again, the battle between the mad scientists and just logic, common sense,
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't know, because why aren't you doing that? Why didn't you stick with that? Why didn't you stick with the run? Why didn't you stick with it's so many things over the last few weeks, especially from also week 4 was my moment from the defense perspective. Week 7 was my week with the offense. Then I'm like, all right, Cliff, now you're up. Okay, what's this? Because they're clearly stacking the box because they do not respect any of the receivers, and rightfully so. Right. You know what I mean? I get it why they don't. But they made the Dallas defensive line look like the dream team out there that day. Right. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awful, because everybody forgot how bad that defense was until that game.
Right.
And now they've gone right back to looking
to being that bad defense again. Yeah.
It was only that game.
That's right.
Literally.
That's right.
Literally. And it's just bizarre. It is really weird. Like, it's even some of the energy in which I saw the play calling happening last season. It's not there. Because
you don't have guys that can make plays for you. So
yeah. And so then, then there becomes you really only wrote this script based on the people you had in promising that everybody was going to stay 1,000% healthy. That's something that's probably flying under the radar a bit, because I know this organization spent a lot of money in investment into all the things from an injury and recovery and all that standpoint.
Yeah, nutrition.
A lot done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of these injuries, like even with what happened to Jayden Sunday, that's freak. That's just
yeah. That's not a soft tissue injury.
No, exactly. But some of the soft tissue things is like, what's going on here? Yeah. So I don't know why they didn't stick with it. They're doing things that work and don't stick with it. That's the part that's like. And
let me ask you.
If I can't say it in a nice way, I'm like, I should skip it.
Yeah. No, and I mean, you, like I said, you got to make sure you finesse it. You can't.
Yeah, I'm good at the finesse, but sometimes it just is not. So I don't know.
What's next, Candi?
I don't know. I think if everybody needs to be playing like they got a job they want to keep and they want to put some good film out there. Sometimes when you get in that mode, that goes well for people. It salvages some things, because I'm not sure, once we get to the bye, if this doesn't go well, I'm not certain that some people will be here after the bye.
That's my cutoff for this whole notion of we still got a chance to have a season.
Yeah, I'm not.
I need you to acknowledge coming out of the bye that we need the young guys to play at that point. So you might not do it before Madrid, because you're going to get your brains bashed in this week against Detroit. It's going to be bad. It's going to be a bloodbath this week. And that's going to send you to Madrid, hoping to get the bad taste out of your mouth, and maybe you do, and that might be the worst thing that happens is them winning the game against the Dolphins and giving them false hope. Like you're 4-7 at that point if you to win the game against Miami.
I don't think some people may not be back after the bye. They lose these next two.
If they lose to the Dolphins, then now you got real problems on you. Because you lose to the Dolphins, you might not win another game this season.
Oh no.
Yeah, you literally could be 3-14. You don't beat the Dolphins. I mean, theoretically speaking, Philadelphia won't need week 18. They will already have the division wrapped up by then, more likely than not. So they won't need that game. You may be able to get that one. Maybe. You're not better than the Giants right now, assuming that they don't have any more injuries. They're playing better football than you right now. You can't go to New York and win playing the way you're playing right now. That's the only other game that I see this team having a shot at winning. Those are the two. I said 5-12. You beat Miami, you beat the Giants, but you could easily lose to Miami. You could easily lose to the Giants. Maybe you beat Philadelphia in week 18 with them playing their backups, but their backups are probably better than most of the guys we're putting on the field.
I don't even know. I mean, it's so many injuries on the Commanders. I'm like, well, who's left? They're going to have to really start digging into the practice squad.
But that's the point. That's my point is I'd much rather see Ricky Barber than Sheldon Day. I much rather see Ja'Cory Brooks than Robbie Chosen and Chris Moore.
People got a lot of explaining to do. This is gonna be it's not good because it's not good. And so because they I know build on last year championship. But did everybody ever really think that the roster was constructed for that?
So, here's my thought process. This roster, as it was constructed this year, was good enough to compete at the level they competed at last year. What now? Absolutely. Was that going to be good enough?
Right.
This year against the schedule that they were playing?
Right.
I can't say that for sure, but here's what we do know. This defense was going to be better than the one that was on the field last year. You couldn't be worse than Emmanuel Forbes, Michael Davis, Benjamin St. Juice in the secondary. I don't know. We never got to find out if Will Harris was an upgrade over Jeremy Chin. Don't know if that actually happened. I can tell you this right now. Jeremy Chin tackled very well last year. Sans for the NFC Championship game when he let Saquon Barkley run for the touchdown. But for the most part, when he had somebody in his sights, he got him on the ground. Now, he was terrible in coverage. That was one of the reasons that people weren't necessarily sad to see him go. But generally, he got guys on the ground.
Will was good in coverage, but tackling, Will was good.
Yeah. So
only 2.5 games in,
you can't tell, right? Like, but we felt like the defensive line was going to be better, right? Just seeing what Kinlaw and Payne were doing inside, what Dietrich Wise was doing at one end, and we saw what kind of start Dorrance got off to. Dorrance was on pace for 17 and a half sacks this season.
Huge loss. Oh, my God.
And so if this defense were to stay healthy, we thought we had a shot to be better defensively, and I really, truly believe we would have been. And then the offense, now that's the $1 million question, was because the offense, even when we were healthy, we weren't sharp in week 1 against the Giants. We didn't look good in week 2 against Green Bay. And that's when the injury started. Eckler got hurt. Noah got hurt. The next week, Terry got hurt. And it never really came together. It never coalesced. Jayden got hurt in that game as well in week 2. So it never really coalesced. We never really got to see what that was going to look like. But that goes all the way back to the summertime and Terry being out and Noah being out and not having that continuity that bled into the season. So I do believe this roster was good enough to compete with Philadelphia, with the Rams, with all the teams that are in this conference, assuming health, right? But we never got to see it. We never got. But the problem was, to your point, we saw it in the New England game in the preseason. You had zero depth. So guys could not get, like, I thought we had more depth. Went into this season. We had certain positions we did have more depth. I felt like we had enough safety depth to, and we had a Will Harris injury, and I don't think that position is falling off of a cliff. I don't know if they're communicating at the clip that they were when he was out there, and if the coverage is as good and all of that. But Jeremy Reeves is one of the few guys that's flying around every week. For all of the faults and things of that nature, he's one of the few guys that you see him playing at the speed that they want. And so,
yeah,
offensive line was another position where I felt like we had depth, and we've seen that, right? They weren't happy with Brandon Coleman. They put Chris Paul in. He's been really good for them, and so he just never got his spot back. Yeah. And I thought we had depth, but the receiver, we knew that they didn't have any depth there in the summertime. We were complaining about it when the burgundy and gold game you brought up. Like, Jayden, you just naturally think the team with Jayden is going to win. They didn't even score a point. It was so bad offensively. They didn't even score a point in that game.
And I feel so bad because I can't. There was a player. His name did come to my mind, and you'll know who it is when I say it. It was like, joint practice in New England, and he had a great catch, and everybody was like, "Oh!" And I was like, "No." When everybody was mad, we wasn't tweeting. That's what I was like, "He'll try to." Yeah. I can't tweet this. Yeah. I can't tweet this. Yeah. I was holding on to hope. Yeah. I was kind of still. I was selling hope, but I definitely was like, nobody get hurt. And as soon as people started getting hurt, I was like, well, there goes.
Yeah. And we still haven't seen said player yet. And at what point do you just say, hey, can we start putting some of these guys in, see what they can do? And that's what I said. Maybe it's the bye week. That's my limit. Is you come off the bye, you got a chance to self-reflect and really, dive into what needs to be done down the stretch.
That's the common sense message, but don't be surprised if they're like, there's 6 more games, and
I don't need to, like you said, putting good film on it. We don't need Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner putting great film out there. They're not going anywhere else after this.
I mean, and I'm not saying that they're going to do that. I mean, I think that's with the team. They're going to still try to put their best foot forward so they can try to win something.
Yeah, because Ben asked him about youth over performance, something to that effect. And he was like, he asked him about circumstance and youth, and he said it's more performance based. And I'm like, I hear what you're saying, but that's not jiving with where we are. And that goes back to my initial point of, hey, you got to live in your truth. You have to acknowledge where you are.
With the Titanic, they don't know it's sinking.
Yeah, DQ's just playing. He's just playing the violin, man.
They're going to stop it from sinking.
Yeah, he's just gonna play the violin while this thing is sinking. He's not gonna stop. Like, at some point, you have to acknowledge we got to find out what we do and don't have. So, and that even to me bleeds into the practice squad. Like, get rid of some of these dudes too.
Here's the challenge with that though. They may know, and if they already know, then you got to
go scouring over somebody else's practice squad then.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's if they may know, then that means, okay, Adam, what happened?
Yeah, right. Like, what are we doing? If you don't have enough confidence,
Coach Quinn tells them what he wants, what he's looking for today, go out and get him.
Right.
So if you brought him in, and remember, I called that out too when Dominique Hampton didn't work out.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. Right. And I don't think he's with anyone else.
But don't think so either.
Things didn't work, and I don't think, but I'm just saying, in terms of use your clues or just using the tea leaves and all that. What if you already know what you got and it's it? But if that's true,
and why are they still here?
Well, because I guess they got to fill the roster.
But that's what I'm saying. You should be finding other guys to come in here if the guys that you have serve no purpose. Like, again,
he made a comment about that too. He made a comment about, there's somebody out there that's practicing or whatever. They're in the practice squad. Be like, we got to get this guy in the game. He made that comment today.
He did make that comment today.
That's why I was like,
are you trying to tell us something? Because again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't care about the 32-year-old wide receiver that's playing well in on the practice squad. I don't care about that guy because that guy's not a part of the solution moving forward. He might be a Band-Aid solution now, but he's not a part of what you're building moving forward. We need to find out about Ja'Cory Brooks. We need to find out about some of these undrafteds that you brought in here, the Ricky Barbers of the world. I forgot the name of the safety that they brought in from the HBCU as here. Like they just signed and he's been here before to the practice squad. I can't remember his name. I'm about to look it up right now because I'm gonna bust my brain trying to think about it. If I don't
I had it right here. Daryl Worley.
Yeah, Daryl Worley. Yes, that's it.
And Trey Hawkins.
Yeah, Trey Hawkins is a young corner from ODU, so that's fine. I don't have any issues with that.
And I know Trey, so I know of Trey. That Trey is another Trey. Lord have mercy, I can't deal with another Trey.
We got a lot of those around.
Yes, because Traylon and Trey Amos, I call it Trey Amos. I call him Game Day Trey.
Yeah,
because when I come over there, bopping around the corner, I'm like Trey, and they both be like, "Hey," and like I was talking to this one.
Right.
You know more, and so this is confusing to me.
Yeah.
So yes, Trey Hawkins, and then Daryl Worley, who they liked Daryl a lot back during the summer.
They did, but Daryl Worley is also 30, years old, 30 something.
Nobody else picked him up either. So
yeah,
but it makes you wonder. I'm gonna just say this: it makes you wonder. Okay, nobody else had picked up Dominique, and so you still didn't bring him back. Nobody, Cleveland was still out there when your pass rush went down, so you clearly didn't want him back. You know what I mean? It's like I'm starting to pay attention to who they let go and they don't bring back.
Yeah. Right. Well, we knew Cleve was washed when he was here.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like at least he knew something. Like my goodness, you know what I mean?
We didn't need to bring him back. Like that's my whole thing is go find some young guys that because the one of the biggest problems with the roster. Yeah, right. And that's the thing. We don't know when he's coming off of IR. Right? The reason he got released from San Francisco is because he failed the physical. I mean, he had only been in the league 3 years. He was still on his rookie deal, and they cut him because there's like we don't know if he'll ever be able to play at the level that we expected him to when we drafted him. So they cut him. So we're taking a risk and a flyer on a guy that we don't even know if he'll ever pan out, which I don't have a problem with. Like we got nothing to lose. He's a young guy, was a former second-round pick, so that means he's talented. So I got no issues with it, but you still need bodies right now. You still need bodies right now. And I can tell you right now, Preston Smith's doesn't work. So I would really like it if you would allow him to stop stealing money and go get a young guy off of somebody's practice squad and put that guy on the active roster. Like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Like what purpose does Preston Smith serve? He doesn't set an edge. He's not getting to the quarterback. What are we doing here? Yeah. Let's get to the comment section. All right, we already did that one. Loser, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Loser writes, they're going to treat Louvu like they did Burfict now. They are absolutely going to put a target on his back.
Yep.
Absolutely, they are.
It's unfortunate. I'm like, is Dan Snyder out on his boat? Did he get his boat fixed? Because is he on the boat making calls? Because I'm like, this is a disaster. It was like of all the things, I don't know. I think it was getting ready to get on the show. I don't know what I was doing. I saw an NFL communications email come up. It said Frankie Louvu suspended or one game. I don't know. And I was like, Frankie who?
Right.
I was like, our Frankie?
It ain't, but he might be the only Frankie in the league.
I think so. But I was like, Frankie Louvu suspended. It is this spam? How did you get this email? What is this? Oh no. Yep, Frankie Louvu suspended one game. I was that was the title.
Yeah.
And it was like, what?
Yeah, that caught me off guard too. When I saw ESPN, I got the ESPN.
Like, oh my God. So I was like, let me post this. And I'm like, he appealed it. Okay, fine. And won. But like,
I didn't think he was going to win neither. Because normally when you appeal the NFL, you don't win.
Again, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, and because they didn't flag it, none of the 3 times.
Right.
It was just like so crazy. And I'm like, this is bizarre. Like, this has gone horribly wrong.
And I mean, it didn't really hit my radar until last week after the Chiefs game. That was a massive fine. Like, that you don't get fined like that in the NFL for, especially if you don't get a flag during the game.
Well, that's why, like, right? That's why I was
that is crazy.
That's what I mean. But that's superstitious candy. You know, that's not reporter candy talking. That's superstitious candy talking. Like, okay, like for real. Is there like what happened? Is there Snyder calling people from the ocean? Did he get his boat fixed? You know, his boat broke down. His boat was he needed to. Did you know?
Are you serious or are you joking right now?
I'm being serious.
No, I did not.
I think it was true.
No, I did not know that. If that's true,
go look at it.
It couldn't have happened to a better person.
His boat had to go get fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, because you like, are you serious? Are you joking?
Yeah, I didn't hear that one, but if it did,
everybody go look it up right now. Dan Snyder boat. This is what happens when you do things live. I'm serious because I think I was in the media annex. And they were like, you know, his boat.
Nah, I had no idea.
Lost it lost power at sea.
Oh Lord, and that's like that Netflix thing.
In the Bay of Biscay or whatever. Yes, his yacht breaks. His boat broke down. I'm telling you, they were like so I'm like, I'm glad he's okay, I guess. But like, yes, his boat broke down, and so ever since then, I'm like, is he doing this on purpose? Because it's so bizarre. Like after all of that, like have mercy on the Commanders. What do you think? What is Frankie? Frankie don't need. Who cares about Frankie getting suspended one game? Are you serious? After what happened to him and the Seahawks?
Right.
Oh, really? This is news. You're gonna suspend Frankie Louie for one game? Really? It's just like really on something that never got flagged. And I was like, who is Dan Snyder calling and paying? Because this is ridiculous.
Utterly.
I was unraveling on this, but it's like, I cannot believe okay. Like nothing bad, please. You know what? This has been off. The whole thing's been off ever since the Terry negotiations.
Yep.
It's been off ever since
that kicked it off.
That and then when Marcus accidentally ran into DQ on that sideline that game, I've been like nothing. It's just a bunch of bizarre, unfortunate events and all these injuries. It's like it's like old times, and it doesn't. I don't like it. But I'm glad I told you that. That's not.
That's crazy. I had no idea. Like like I said, it couldn't have happened to a better person. But that's wild. That his boat broke down. That reminds me of that Netflix documentary about the cruise ship where it lost power. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. That's what happened to them.
That's nasty. That is nasty.
Yeah. I'm
Backwoods.
Made y'all laugh. I didn't know y'all didn't know.
No, we did. Well, I can't speak for anybody else. I didn't know that. So I did that. I had no idea.
Make that joint and roll that thing all the way wherever. Oh God. Now I'm getting loose.
I love it.
This is a mess. So yeah.
Smack Woods. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. There's a clip online where Debo tried to give JD a dap. He denied it. That's what Candy might have seen on the sidelines.
Oh yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't know that.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that clip.
Jaden was very upset, and so yeah. I've never seen him not with his teammates ever. Not that he was upset with his teammates. I'm trying to be clear about that, but I think he was upset.
Yeah. I mean, the game's 38-7. I'm pretty sure he was pretty. Yeah. He was pissed off about how things were going.
Yeah.
Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Candy, is DQ's seat starting to warm up?
I don't know, because we're going to find out. I mean, this new ownership group, I don't know what kind of time they on. You know, we're all learning in the moment here, right? Is year and a half into a recalibration, but what does that mean? Because everybody's like, we winning Super Bowls around here. That's what they're saying. You know, we championship. This is right there. Talk about the scars. You don't want to feel the scars again. And I'm like, you've been getting beat up all season. After the scars, you said you didn't want to feel again. So it's like it happens every week. I don't know. Really don't know. But it's like, then what becomes the answer? Because you don't want to get into, I would imagine you don't want to get into a cycle, right? Of just coaches. Whenever something doesn't go your way, 1 year,
Right.
The head coach is gone. This one is gone.
Right.
This was gone. I mean, I think if there was more healthy players playing, and this still was like this, then yeah. Because not offensively. I think if there were healthier players, this wouldn't look like this offensively, but defensively, I'm not so sure. So, it wouldn't look this bad. But, I think, a healthy offense gets you in control of the scoreboard a little bit more.
Did you run into Josh Harris yesterday by any chance?
Where at the game?
Yeah.
I see him after, yes.
Was he feeling nice? He looked like he felt great yesterday on Sunday night. He looked like, even though the game wasn't going well, he was having a great time. I'm gonna just say that there's a shot of him behind Dan Quinn on the sidelines. Love Josh Harris. Shout out to Josh Harris, man.
Yeah, man, he loves it, but I think he gets in fan mode when he's there too. So it's fun for him. It's like he's not like an owner; he's like a fan that has really good seats. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But he's just. I think he was confused at one point. It was a lot.
I bet it was. I mean, like I said, that's one of the worst halves of football defensively I've ever seen.
I don't mind sharing this. There's many people I see in the hallway at the end of games, and we all normally speak, win or lose. Mm-hmm. None of us spoke to one another. Like nobody.
Was that intentional? Or
I think we were. I mean, I'm not even sure if we all saw one another. You know what I'm saying? Like we were all there, but I think everyone was in a daze. Like,
yeah. I mean, again, the Jayden injury just.
Yeah, it was just
like it's one thing to get your ass kicked. It's another thing to have your star quarterback get injured in that manner.
Again on that, and everybody saw it. Oh.
Yeah. Like these losses on national television are getting old. I mean, that's 3 losses on national television where you were pretty much non-competitive.
Yeah,
Out of the 4, you should have beat the Bears, but that's 3 times that you were non-competitive on national television.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, not ideal. 7 Descent. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 7 Descent writes, if 5 gets to 100 before the end of the year, will he want to play? Of course he will. He shouldn't have any say-so in this. This is where the coach is supposed to be able to show that he is in control of this situation. As much as Jayden would want to play, just like if Jayden wanted to play in that game when he got hurt. I'm pretty sure you could ask Jayden 10 times out of 10 and he would tell you, I want to play all 10 times, right? That is DQ's job to say your day is done. You've done enough. This fight is over. Let's live to fight another day. Same thing this season. This season's done. You've done enough. I applaud you. I admire your strength and your will to want to continue to fight this season. This fight's done. Let's pack it up and we'll try again next year. Let's get you completely healthy. Let's get this thing going for 2026. He says he's been clearly aggravated not playing when he felt good to go. And it's hard to ask Jayden, could he play? Because he'll tell you he could play when he probably shouldn't be out there. Can't take his word for it. And that ain't just Jayden. That's players in general.
That's players.
They tell you, I feel good. No, you don't. Okay. You think you feel good, but the doctor is like, nah, you go out there, you can make things a lot worse. So if he gets to 100 before the end and he's forced to sit, he could start to resent the shot callers, ? You think that there could be any resentment if he's not allowed to play, if he feels like he's ready to go?
I mean, he's hurt.
He's saying if in the scenario that he's, let's say that they get these opinions and he could be ready after the first game after the bye, which is Denver. So let's say we've got this game against Detroit. You've got the game next week against the Dolphins in Madrid. You got the bye week. Then you got the Denver game. Let's say so a month from now, they say, hey, Jayden can go out there and play if you need him to against the Giants. And you got 4 games left. Giants, 2 against the Eagles, and the Cowboys sandwiched in between the 2 Eagles games. Would he be resentful if the staff said, bro, you're done for the season?
Yeah, maybe he would be if it's, I think if they IR'd him, short-term IR 4 weeks, he would get that. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't all the way convinced that he was all right from the knee to hamstring and now this left elbow situation. Right? Yeah. Even though he looked good running, he did. He really did.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he looked great. So, but it was still just like, So maybe if this is a situation where short-term IR could work, but I think this, if anything, it might be like a 4 to 6 weeks thing. I'm not so sure. I'm not so certain it was just like a matter of let me just knock your elbow back in,
Right.
I don't think it was like that. But he might feel resentful if he's like, I could have played all this time, but he also has to know that this is injury number 3,
right?
And this is it. I mean, what are they chasing? Sure. Do the Jets feel like they could have won out? The Raiders feel like they could have won out. I mean, maybe, but at some point, somebody's got to be the logic in the room and just be like, hey, like you just never know what could happen. But hopefully he knows that everybody really cares about him and he would not feel.
Yeah, I think he and DQ have a great relationship.
Yeah.
DQ talks about how he talks to him basically every day.
And this just hasn't been a good year. I mean, going back to the Chicago game, I mean, Jayden blamed himself for that loss. He blamed himself for that loss. He definitely,
as he should have.
Right. And so he definitely hit up DQ. He had conversations with several of his teammates and many people and sent around a round of apologies and all that because he put that weight on his shoulder. He puts a lot of weight. And so maybe with all of that, maybe it's just the recognizing that as well. You know what I mean? Like, I think they're all learning a lot more about each other in this adversity. And so you might just have to save him from himself from that perspective because he went back out there. If he's going to do that, what else is he going to do?
Right. Well, look, this is the thing. If you put Jayden out there, he's not going to just stand in the pocket.
He's not. He is not supposed to stand in no pocket. That's not even who he. That's not even how he.
And I think DQ realized that when he was like, we called, plays where it was no run, right? Like these weren't plays where he was designed to run. It was no reads. There was just, no read, no run is what he said. Like he literally was supposed to just be dropping back and throwing a football. But it's Jayden we talking about. Yeah. And the line was struggling again. That was one of their worst games of the season. They were struggling against Seattle's front.
Bad. They were down real bad. They looked terrible. Like Sam Cosmi said in his scrum, they got their skipped. And they did. They did. And that's so facts. And I kept saying that it's like it's Jayden, but it's almost like it's like what came first, the chicken and the egg. It's Jayden, and it's Jayden, he's gonna run.
Yep. He's gonna try to make something happen. Best he can.
Yep. He's trying to work the numbers in his head. Like, okay, if we do this, we can still score this many points. No.
Yeah. That used to be me once upon a time. Like, always trying to think of a way where we can come back. But that one was over in the first half. And then you know what I said, because I'm big on winning a coin toss and deferring. I bet you wish you would have had the ball after halftime now, right? Because the defense actually got some stops to start the second half.
Receiving isn't even a part of their identity.
Yeah. That you put, I think you said that as best as it could have been worded. Like you put that very eloquently. There's a difference between desperation and aggression, and they crossed the line into desperation when they made that decision. And I think it didn't matter. At the end of the day, they Probably we're going to go down and score anyway. The offense probably wasn't going to respond. But I just rather have the ball. And I've said this, and people have laughed at me for saying this, and I get it. But I truly believe had they gotten the ball after the half against Kansas City, they would have gone down and scored, and it would have been a different game because Kansas City had not stopped them on offense the entire first half. They did not punt once. They had the interception and the 2 4th down failures, and then they scored the touchdown. So I really, truly believe, and they had the momentum. They had just scored a touchdown, and then they got the stop before halftime. And that they received out of the halftime break, I think they go down and score, and now it's a different game. But the opposite happened. Kansas City got the ball to start second half, and we saw what happened. They scored, and the rest is history. And so I'm a big proponent of getting the ball after half because I know what the score is when the game starts. I don't know what it's going to be at halftime.
After halftime. That's right.
Billy D. Marcus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, "What's up, Lou and Candy? What up, Billy D?" He says, "I really don't think DQ wants to play the young guys unless they earn the time. He keeps talking about development as they rot on the bench. I hope he's not set in his ways." As a, I get that from a coaching perspective. Like, I'm not just putting guys on the field because you're young. Like, you have to show us that you are capable of being on the field and being able to do the things that we're going to ask you to do. So there is some validity to that. My whole thought process is if you bring these guys onto your football team and you think that they may be able to do X, Y, and Z, there's only one way to find out. There's only one way to find out, and that's to put them out there and let's see what they can do. Like, you always hear them talking about practice. Let's be honest. The practice in the summer versus the practice during the season, they're not the same. The guys that aren't starting aren't getting real reps during the week. All right. The reps that are taken during the course of a week are really geared towards getting the starters ready for the game on Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whenever the game is. So those backup players, those guys running the scout team, they're running the plays of other teams, right? Looks that the other team, they expect the other team to give them. So you're not really out here getting better per se. Like, this whole notion of guys on the practice squad, we got to give him an opportunity. He might be running the hell out of the plays that they're giving him. Cool. But you're not running our scheme. You're not running the things that we're going to ask you to do. So my whole thought process is, if you got young players and you got veterans in front of them that have been keeping them off the field, which we get if you're a competitive team, which we're not now, this is when you have to start saying to yourself, all right, how do we assess these young players? And he keeps talking about performance over youth. And I'm like, you can't necessarily look at it from that prism, being in the state that you're currently in. Again, I don't expect them to throw in the white towel right now. I don't expect them to throw in the towel and wave the white flag right now. But after Detroit kicks their brains in, right, maybe that gets them to a point now. And again, that's why I said the Miami game it might be better if they didn't win that game. I'm never one to root for a loss. That's just not in my DNA, but I will if I have to. Yeah, like when we needed a quarterback back in 2023, I was like, when Jacoby Brissett tried to bring us back against the Jets, I was like, Jacoby, what are you doing, dude? You're not sticking to the script. And so winning against the Dolphins might not be the best thing in the world because it may give them false hope yet again at 4-7. Like, we're not out of this thing yet. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So what says you? Do you think he's set in his ways and he's not going to play those young guys? He's going to ride it out with Zach Ertz and Bobby Wagner and all of the veteran players, the Chris Moores of the world?
I think that he probably would if he. I mean, because who else? When you gonna do a quarterback? Put Josh Johnson out there? I mean, you can. I mean, you could go ahead and put Sam Hartman out there.
No, we don't want to see either one of those guys.
That's what I'm saying.
We saw enough of them in the preseason. It's right? Like, we don't have a young quarterback that we want to see. Like, Marcus is fine. Just stay healthy, Marcus, because we don't want to see.
But that becomes the same thing even with Marcus, right? It's like, all right, you just swap everybody out and then just watch them ride the wave for the rest of the season. And even if you take those guys out, some of the, some reps. Well, Zach ain't out there all the time anyway, but it's going to be interesting. That's what I'll say. And you have to, I look at this like when it comes to like a Bobby or things on the defense. Do you really want these young guys getting the calls from Joe Witt Jr.?
Yes.
And trying to decipher what that is? I would highly recommend not.
So here's the thing.
Now, if he's no longer the defensive play caller, certainly consider it. But like if he is,
so are you saying that there's a disconnect between Joe Witt and the play calls?
What else would the miscommunication be?
Okay.
I mean, I can watch what's happening and be like, all right, okay, this is consistent.
Yeah, because you talked about it, last week about Bobby having to make some calls on the field. And
yeah, but I mean, yeah, if I'm watching, but that was something that came out publicly, right? But where I'm at with DQ is he thinking this is more who's the accountable person? Because it's hard to defend missed tackles. Okay. They keep all this fast physical. All right. In a stage of missed tackles, Bobby Wagner's still making tackles. So, okay. But it's like, if people still continuously getting beat, because here's the unfortunate truth too, this defensive line ain't doing too much or nothing, even for those who are still there and healthy, right? So it's almost like a catch-22 where it's like, well, who's the lesser of the two evils right now?
Right.
Because all it's going to do, I'm going to tell you, they can take Bobby out, and all it's going to do is everybody's going to start complaining about Jordan. Facts on top of facts. They're going to complain about Jordan, Kane, and Tyler. I'm surprised Tyler didn't get way more flack this past week. But that's what it's going to be.
I'd rather us complain about seeing these guys play and not be able to do it, so at least we know, than to keep putting guys out on the field that we know what they are, what they provide. We know Bobby is a tackling machine. We know Bobby can't run with these athletic guys out of the backfield. We know these things. We know Bobby is a gold jacket Hall of Famer when his time is done. We know what he provides from a leadership standpoint. We know what he provides from getting everybody lined up. We know what his value is. But we also need to find out what Jordan McGee's value is. Can he be your Mike? Can he have the green dot? Can he communicate to everybody?
I will gladly tell you, you can probably look at the couple of games where he has been in that position and it didn't turn out well.
But is that because he hasn't had a lot of reps doing it, or because like
reps that I do know?
You got to be out there enough to be able to say that he can or can't do it. You got to see him in those situations. So it's a catch-22 because at this point I already know they haven't conceded that the season's done. You're not going to take Bobby out. You're not taking Zach out. You're not taking guys like that out of there.
Once you do with the same play caller, you're conceding. I can tell you if here's what I don't mind saying this. I don't think the fan base is ready for that.
Ready for what?
I hear what you're saying, but I don't think they're ready for the conceding. I don't think so.
I think like, so when I say conceding, it's more so of an acknowledgement that, hey, look, this is where we are. Like, that's why we wanted them to make deals. Like, if they would have traded Debo at the trade deadline to the Steelers, let's just throw a random team out there. That's them saying, hey, season's done, guys. Like, we already didn't have any receivers, and we traded the only one that was somewhat healthy that could do anything. He's gone now. So they're not there, though. And if they had done that and they had gotten us a 5th-round pick, the fan base would have been excited about that.
I doubt it. I would have to disagree with you on that.
Well, I'm telling you, with the
because
fans,
it would have been like they stink. It would have been Adam is this, Adam is that. You could say that now. But
I don't think that would have been a reaction at all.
Out there, because you got to think that's 7-8 more games of watching that.
What you think it's going to be, Candy?
Oh,
It's going to be the same
I know
thing.
what it's going to be, but I know what it's going to be because I'm there.
I'd rather it be with a 5th round pick in tow.
I don't think the fan base wasn't ready to see what they see now. And I saw it in New England. And when everybody said you didn't say anything, now everybody knows why. I don't think the fan base is ready to see that. Like, for real. Maybe if there's 3 or 4 more games, but for the rest of this season, that's a lot of games to watch them do that with the same play caller.
I don't think you're giving the fan base enough. I don't think you're giving them enough credit. We've been here before, Candy. The fans, we've seen bad football before.
Been here before after an NFC championship run.
No, most fans haven't. No.
Yeah, you're right. So that's where I'm at. I'm with the context of this is the year after an NFC championship run when they have sold everybody on you're going to the Super Bowl. Now, we in December, I'm with you 1,000%. But at the beginning of November, I'm like, oh, everybody is not going to be game to watch this. These people who still are going to Madrid, they're not going to be game to watch this because we know how bad it is. Just how bad. Not with the same play caller. They make a change at play caller, I'm with you 1,000. If they make a change with the play caller, I'm going to say I'm with you 1,000%. Because truth be told, with the same play caller, it ain't even fair to the younger guys. It's not even fair in my opinion.
Enough said. You said everything you needed to say without actually saying it. You said everything you needed to say.
Out there, I mean, my God. So it's just you don't.
So that just that furthers my thought process of will DQ have. Because the defense isn't going to get better this season. It's only going to get worse.
Nope. That's
so the question is, will he do what needs to be done in the offseason?
That's what everybody's waiting to see.
That's the $1 million question.
That's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million question because if that's the $1 million question. If he does, then you might see some other things change, But if he doesn't, you just go down with the ship. They're going down with the ship anyway. But I'm just saying, everybody, because I saw the reaction to that. Everybody loved Dan Quinn until this. They want to fire Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
They want to fire everybody. They don't like nobody anymore. It's just, and as soon as you do that, oh my God, they're gonna have to shut their accounts down. Yeah. They're gonna have to shut their accounts down. And so, because I want to tell anybody what I think is flying under the radar. You want to know what I think is flying under the radar, Louie?
What's that, Candy?
They did all of this changing to the offensive line. Have you seen any changes on the offensive line and how they're playing?
So let me wait. So you think the offensive line is basically the same as it was last year?
The performance-wise almost looks worse.
Really? I felt like the quarterbacks have had pretty much all day to throw this season for the most part, up until the Seattle game. The Seattle game was as bad as it's been all season. You upgraded the left tackle. You don't even have to chip on that side with Laramie. Chris Paul has been better than I thought he was going to be. He's been really solid. And he's an upgrade over Nick Allegretti from last year. Biotish is Biotish. The right guard has been, iffy. Even with Sam back, it's been iffy because he's got to get his legs back under him. He's been, iffy. I'm not gonna beat him up because he's got to get back into the flow of things. And then Connolly has been rough on the right side. And so I would say it's better to me personally this year than it was last year. But I also thought the play calling was better last year. They made a more like last year, they covered up for this offensive line by chipping on almost every play that they were passing the football. Tight end, running back, somebody got a piece on the way out. They're not even having to do that a lot of the time. They're not helping Connolly a lot. And then, sometimes they do help him, but they're not helping Laramie at all. And I feel like they've done a pretty good job of protecting up until the Seattle game. They were awful. That was their worst game of the season.
Oh, they were definitely awful in Seattle, but ever since Dallas stacked the box, which of course, they did that a couple times last year, it's just been hard to fight anybody off. And Seattle looked like they were going to do it. They had more men down at the line of scrimmage, but they didn't even need them. They just went with 4 or 5 for the most time because they didn't need it. So for me, it's been since, that's why I said on week 7, the Dallas game, I'm like, oh yeah. Now I gave a little bit of grace because Sam Cosmi was just on his way back.
Right.
But to the point of all the things that were done to enhance the offensive line, I'm not seeing the enhancement in the way that I thought it would look like. Quarterbacks are still running back there. They're still running.
Yeah.
They got to run.
I think that's more of a byproduct of nobody getting open, to be honest with you. And I will add this. Cliff, we've been giving Cliff a pass on his concepts because of how bad Joe Witt was and how good Cliff was, and then all of the injuries. But Cliff also has been very negligent with his play calls. There's a 3rd down early in the game where Seattle clearly is bringing cover 0. It's like 3rd and 7, and we got dudes doing the Eric Bieniemy 15-yard routes down the field. And they're running cover 0. That means they're blitzing with more guys than we can protect with. And I'm like, there's no out for Jayden. There's no answer for him on this play. Where's the slant? Where's the quick, shallow cross? Where's the ability for him to get this football out of his hands? There is none. Everybody's got their back turned to him. He has nowhere to go with this football, and they're coming on this blitz. And so Cliff is responsible for some of this as well. But also, guys, aren't necessarily separating.
Oh no, ain't nobody get open now. That's the truth. The wide receivers cannot. They will have to overhaul the entire room.
Yeah,
is my right now in week 10. That needs to be a place of emphasis for sure.
Yeah.
In the off season. It is so crazy because that was something that we all was like, oh, they figured it out. No. I don't know what they figured out because now it doesn't look like they figured out much.
It's going to be a long road ahead for them trying to piece together what this roster is supposed to look like, because there were so many Band-Aid solutions and now they need surgery. And you've been putting Band-Aids on, but eventually you need surgery. And so now this offseason, I'm going to be really intrigued to see if he goes the route of these 1-year deals with these veterans again, or if he finally says, all right, I'm going to spend a little money. We got the 3rd most cap space in the NFL. And I get that you got some deals that may be coming down the pipeline, guys that you got to pay, but ultimately you've made shrewd moves. You've been penny pinching. You didn't want to spend money on guys. So now you got all this money. What you gonna do with it? You gonna keep shopping at the dollar store, or you gonna actually go out here and purchase some items and help get some younger, talented guys? We need more of those Frankie Louvu 3-year contracts, more of those Javon Kinlaw 3-year contracts, and less of these 1-year veteran guy come in here for $2.5 million. Let's see what you can do for us. Like, let's actually get some guys in here that can help. And then obviously you don't build your roster through free agency. You supplement it through free agency. You build your roster through the draft. We don't have enough draft picks.
No, they don't have enough draft picks. I don't even think that was their intention.
Yeah. It wasn't like that. That was the gift and the curse of last year.
Yeah,
they didn't expect us to be in that position last year.
No, and I mean, and even the success that they had. I mean, they had that success with players that people didn't even really care about.
That's what I said. He really did a great job with free agency. To be honest, like he really hasn't missed in free agency. It's been the draft that we were worried about. That's how you build your roster.
And that's exactly why I'm like, you want to put the young guys out there? Nope, Louie, not now. No.
Well, then that's another conversation. If you scared to put them young boys out there because they can't play, that's an even bigger issue and an even bigger conversation that has to be had.
I would agree with that. I mean, some of them you can see. Some of this ain't working out. But that's what it's like. Some of this isn't working out. And that's why I'm like, wait a minute. Because I mean, do we want to have a conversation about Jalen Lane? You know, I've been on him. I've been on to this, Louie. So that's why I'm saying
we talked about it last week. I'm trying to show patience, but you know, every week it's something with him. And now the fumble this week, like the 90-yard punt return built up some equity, right? Gave him a little bit of breathing room, but that's where that's probably worn off by now. You got to do something else big. And then he did have the big catch against the Bears on the double move. So he's had 2 big plays, but at some point you got to do something else because every week it's something negative. Every week there's something negative.
Yeah, and I think I kind of put more blame on Cliff with how Bill or just the running back room overall is going. But you haven't heard much there either because people are now ready for Bill. You know, that's unfortunate. You should have used your running back by committee because that's what worked. But that's a more Cliff thing than anything, you know. Yeah. Kane hasn't been on the field yet. You know, we've had that conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, the only time he was on the field, that was in the Falcons game, but that was for special teams purposes because Percy was out.
Right.
So, I mean, okay.
This is to be expected for me. When they drafted him, I said he's not playing this year. He'll be Dominique Hampton, where he'll play maybe in 1 or 2 games on special teams, and
I keep going back to that. You're not doing a great job. I'm telling you, with the safety room, you're trying to draft these linebackers and safeties, it's not working out. And so, but Jordan, I think, is fantastic. Jordan is doing a great job. But like, look at, you know, with Josh Conley, Trey is doing great. But hey, Trey listen, the Seattle Seahawks gave everybody work on Sunday.
They did. Trey got a lesson from JSN. It was rough.
That's right. It was rough. Nobody was exempt on Sunday night. Not a one of them was exempt. You couldn't remember when the biggest issue this season looked like it was going to be the kicker. Remember that?
Yeah. Good times, Candi. Good times.
That was good times. But that's why I'm like, hey, I'm not, you know, I think I like Adam Peters a lot. But I mean, drafts, I don't know about these drafts. I'm not sure. And, you know, give me a minute. Maybe after the bye, I'll be like, okay, you want to see all these people. But
you're not wrong. These have been some people that, and this is what I said, when you start losing in this manner and things go off the rails, people start looking at everything. They leave no stone unturned, and they are analyzing everything.
And that's why I'm like, now, hey, to be fair, you know, there's some things I analyze too. That's why I'm gonna go back to the return. Like, wait a minute, somebody, the ball is life. Does he know that motto? Does he know that mantra? And so that's why I'm like, I just, you know, hey, Kane, I first asked him, hey, we don't know if he's more like Frankie Louvu or Jeremy Chin. You don't know by now? You don't know by now? Okay, well, that might be an issue. Right. You don't know that by now. So I'm like, I don't know. Mikey Sanders still he's struggling. Just put him back outside. Nobody is. Okay, great. But you wait until Marshawn is hurt. Nobody was fooling with him anyway. So you might as well put him back outside. So it was just like, this has been like, just do the logical thing.
Yeah.
Just to see if it works.
Yeah. At this point, I'm open to trying anything. So like, because I was a big proponent of Mikey just staying inside. He's really a nickel, and I don't think they're utilizing him correctly. But there's no doubt that he played better last year as a boundary corner than he did. He's just, to me, he's not supposed to be out there. You could see it when he played AJ Brown. He just was at a disadvantage. He was too small, and guys would take advantage of that. And so I don't think he can play out there consistently. And that's why he's supposed to be inside and utilized properly. But that's not what they're doing. So
what happened? And then how you started out, I mean, the NFL, I think it's just, you know, It's just not the same. It's a couple. Javante's injured. Johnny is. They're pleased with Johnny, but he dealt with an ankle situation.
Johnny, you can't be pleased with Johnny. Johnny was a second-round pick. We don't call Johnny's name enough. Johnny's not a fifth-round pick that is doing his job. Johnny's a second-round pick. You had 3 of them. All right. Johnny was the first of 3, and Johnny is not an impact player. Second-round picks are supposed to be impact players, especially if you're drafted in the 30s. He was the 36th overall pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yeah. And I think he had dropped because of the foot injury.
Exactly. They were talking about him being a first-round talent.
He was supposed to be a first-round. Yep.
So I'm not trying to hear that Johnny's playing well. That's not a great description of what Johnny is supposed to be doing at this juncture of his career. Now, granted, again, he had the foot surgery. Maybe the first year was a little rough. They told us he's got a full off season now, so he should look a lot like himself. We still waiting. Like, you don't tell me he's playing well, and we hardly call Johnny Newton's name. The biggest play Johnny's made this season is a tip ball that got intercepted in LA. And then the only other time we called his name was when he slammed Patrick Mahomes and picked up a 15-yard penalty.
Yep.
So what we talking about with Johnny? Don't tell me he's playing. Don't look me in my face like I'm some bozo. Like I'm not watching these games and tell me Johnny's playing well. Okay, he might be playing again for a 5th or 6th round pick. Johnny might be playing well, but Johnny's not living up to the 2nd round billing. Neither is Ben Sinnott, and Mikey's taking a step backwards this year. You can't whiff on 3 2nd round picks. So, again, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. It's not looking good. That's why I'm just like, is anybody? And I was like, I wasn't gonna be the bearer of bad news.
Look, man, this is what we need from you, Candy. We need the truth. That's like you said, you was out there and want nothing nice to say. We just want the truth, Candy. Maybe you could have prevented all of this if you would have told us back when they was in New England, hey, we are trash, guys. We are not good. It might have came with a little blowback, and people might have been cussing you out and telling you all kinds of stuff, but you would have been vindicated. Right now, you'd have said, I told you so.
All I could bring y'all in my code was I sure hope nobody gets hurt.
I sure hope nobody gets hurt.
What do you have to say? I sure hope nobody gets hurt. Thank you for having me on your show. Y'all not about to out. Oh no.
Oh man.
And as soon as people started getting hurt, I was like, oh no. Week 2, that was when it was downhill. I said, this isn't gonna work.
That's when the injury started, and they never stopped.
Was gone. Which is still not good because I don't think the pass rush shouldn't have rested in Dietrich Wise either. But that's again, it's conversation.
Yeah. He wasn't brought in here to get the quarterback. He was helping to stop the run and set a physical edge. But what I think his presence on the line was going to do, one, he does collapse the pocket. I saw that early on. He will bull rush the hell out of a tackle and be in the lap of the quarterback, or at least make him flush out of the pocket. Right. But what that was going to do was allow for Jacob Martin to be in the role he was designed to be in.
You know what I mean? Supposed to be in. That's right.
Right. So he wouldn't have to be playing these starter reps. Could you imagine Jacob Martin with the energy he's playing with, just playing 25 snaps, 30 snaps a game, and get that juice? That's what it was designed to be. You know what I mean?
Designed to be.
So
I don't know. I was like, but you're right. I could have been vindicated. I told y'all.
You could have warned us. You could have given us. You could have had those yellow lights flashing, like, "Hey, y'all, look over here! I got something for y'all. Just want to let y'all know what y'all might be walking into this season."
You saw the picture? Didn't I show you that picture of how sad I look?
Yes.
Maybe one day.
I told you was supposed to post it. You were supposed to post it.
I didn't post it because again, I was scared. I was like,
you were supposed to post it.
And then the chick Hernandez will tell me something. If you doing all that, you need to find a hobby. Seriously, chick, listen. Like, this is stressful for me. I don't know how to tell people bad news.
Yeah. Now that you should have. I was like, Candy, post it. I'm gonna repost it, and we're gonna talk about this.
Yes, Lake took that picture of me because I was literally like, "What are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna tell people?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to put all of their names on a prayer list and hope nobody."
Not a prayer list.
Oh, I hate that this is happening. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I really hate.
I hate it here.
Dallas
I really do.
for me. I checked out in
Yeah.
Dallas, and I checked in to just let me do my job because this is gonna be a rough one. This is gonna be rough.
You're not the only one. A lot of people checked out after Chicago. Those that didn't check out after Chicago checked out after Dallas. Those who didn't check out after Dallas checked out after Kansas City. I was in denial, and I finally checked out after Seattle. So
yeah, I think I might have made a post like, "Okay, Commanders fans, the rest of this ride is gonna be real bumpy. And tricky." Like,
oops. Yeah.
Tricks. And then it was like Jayden getting hurt Sunday night was just like, all right.
Yeah.
Shut this down, please.
Yeah.
But when they didn't sell anything on trade deadline day, I said, okay, this is what they
yeah, to me, that was their way of saying we still think we got a shot.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that one of the national reporters didn't come out like Mike Garafolo or somebody like, hey, the Commanders had some calls. Teams were interested, but the Commanders rebuffed. That would have sent me like in probably a good 2/3 of the fan base off, because you can't look us in the face after losing 3 straight games by 21 points or more with a defense that just gave up one of the worst halves, or the best, depending on how you're looking at it, halves of football we've ever seen. Like, that was stunning. That wasn't Tom Brady, right? That wasn't Joe Burrow. That wasn't Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. That was Sam Darnold.
That was Sam Darnold.
That was Sam Darnold.
That was Sam Darnold.
That was Sam Darnold, Candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't tell me that we still got a season in front of us. Don't do that. Don't patronize me after our quarterback just went down in a heap, by the way. The one you left in down 31 in the fourth quarter. Don't look me in my face and tell me we still got a season, because we don't. So do something to help us in the future try to get better, faster. Draft picks.
When they didn't score after they chose to receive, I said, well, here we go. The 15-yard face mask penalty was on Chris Paul. I said,
yeah.
Where's my bag? It's like, no, I was still sitting there. Like, I could have just went and sat in the press conference room and waited.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was over. Once we didn't score on that opening possession, no one could have prepared me for how bad the defense was going to play last night, though. Nobody. Or Sunday.
I will say I didn't expect that, which made me start to think like, all right.
I knew that they were bad. I didn't expect that bad. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't expect that bad. William Rogers Jr., thank you for being a member for 39 months. Salute to you. He writes, example, Torrey Horton was drafted later than Lane. That's how I be in the draft sometimes, man. Like, sometimes you know, guys fall through the cracks. Sometimes, you know, people like they specifically, like I felt like there were other receivers better than Jalen Lane at that point, but they were looking for a return man. They listen, you got to understand where they were mentally going into that draft. They were building this roster to try to win a Super Bowl right now. So they were looking for areas of improvement where they were weak last year, just to build off of what they had done the year before. One of the areas that we got nothing from last year was the returns game. It's primarily punt returns. And you know what would be nice? How to really utilize Jalen? Actually force a punt. That's the one thing he's good at. He can't return kickoffs for whatever reason. He's not good at that. He struggles to catch the football right now. He's supposed to be a deep threat. We haven't seen him get vertical except for one time, and that was on a double move against Chicago. But he hasn't been the Diami replacement that we thought he was going to be in terms of being able to get vertical and give us another guy that can stretch the defense.
No.
The one thing he's done this year effectively is return punts, and we can't force a punt to give him a chance to even do that. So Horton has been solid for the Seahawks. I ain't tripping about it, but they drafted Lane specifically to return kicks. That was supposed to be the thing that he was great at. And if he could help as a receiver, but in their mind, he was supposed to be way down the depth chart.
Way down. He's not supposed to be seeing the offense.
He's not seeing the field as a receiver, right?
Nope.
So, yeah, I feel you though, William. I feel you. All right, so that's gonna do it for CWall Wednesday. It's gonna be a little while before Candy comes back. I think it's right before Thanksgiving. We're gonna figure it out. I don't know if that's gonna jive with both of our schedules, but we had set that up. So that would be post Madrid. That might be right before the Denver game, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, but let's talk about it because I'm like, should I come back after Denver?
Yeah. We'll figure that out. But
Sertan playing, he doesn't even need to play. He doesn't really need to play.
He doesn't. They don't need him for that. They got a white corner out there named Riley Moss. He should be able to do just fine against us.
Riley's pretty good.
He should be able to do really good against us. So they don't need Pat for that game.
They don't need Pat.
They don't need him for that. But
I mean, nothing is turning out right because I was actually looking forward to that game.
That was one of the games, but before we had you on before the season started, the first week we were going into the Giants game, and you said, I am looking forward. No, matter of fact, this was in the summertime we were talking. The first time we spoke, and you were like, I asked you what game you were looking forward to. You was like, I'm really looking forward to the Denver game.
The Denver game.
I'm really looking forward to Denver and Pat Surtain, because Jayden said that was one of the corners he was looking forward to facing.
Yep.
He's not even going to face him.
He said it after. Well, he said it after I said it, but I said it in May, in like at the park. Like, I cannot wait for that Denver game. In fact, I was like, what? Jay looked over there. He was like, she knows what she's talking about. And I was like, thank you. I didn't say nothing. It was like, why Denver? Are you kidding me? Yeah. And so he knew because I wanted to see Pat Surtain. I just knew I was going to see Pat Surtain and Terry. I just knew it.
Right. And you're not going to see Pat Surtain, Terry, or Jayden more likely.
Exactly.
Which is crazy. Which is crazy. You might see Terry. Terry might be back after the bye. I think they're gonna put him out there. I wouldn't put him out there. I'd shut him down for the season.
I would not.
I'd shut him down for the season. For what? What are we doing here, folks? But DQ is just, he got a one-track mind right now. He is in hell, and he is trying to find his way out of hell right now. He's trying to find some water right now. He is like not thinking of nothing else but winning the game. His focus is so narrow right now that that's why he kept Jayden in the game. Somebody brought this to my attention the other day. They said, it was my guy Derek B. Shout out to my guy Derek B. He said that DQ took Jayden out of the game against Cleveland last year in the fourth quarter. He didn't put him in the game. He didn't play the fourth quarter last year. That game was like 27-6. Right?
Because they were winning. See, it's the false hope thing. It's the too used to the Hail Mary. It's the Hail Mary effect. It was the gift and the curve.
Candy, we were down by 31 points.
I don't think nobody was thinking. Even myself. Remember I said, you know, going back out there.
Right.
My notebook. I didn't even think twice. I heard everybody saying, why is he going back out there? Because that's Jayden and that's Dan Quinn. All right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like in my notebook, not paying any attention until everybody said, oh my God. And I was just like, what just Jay was hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What the hell? Excuse my language, but
you don't have to excuse your language here.
I was just like, of all the things. But somebody's got to protect somebody. Somebody's got to be the logic. Somebody's got to be protect. Who's doing the protecting right now? Everybody's just.
We'll see. It's a mess.
Like everybody's just wilding.
No fan of this team. I shouldn't say that. That's not fair because there were fans last year that said what we did last year was not sustainable, and so. There were some of those out there, but most of us were like high off of last season. You trade for Debo, you trade for Laramie Tunzel. You expect the offense to be better than it was the year prior because of these moves that you've made. And we find ourselves here asking a million questions, and your season is done before
your bye,
before Veterans Day. It probably was done before Halloween. We didn't want to acknowledge it. You know, it was probably done before Halloween, but I wasn't willing to.
I said in Kansas City. I think I told you what I said in Kansas City. I literally was like, I don't mind saying it here. I was like, oh my gosh, this has all the in the second half. Let me be clear. It was in the second half. I said, this has all the makings of them not winning another game this season. And I was like, and this is bad. Yeah. Like, how did they switch? I mean, it was literally like a switch, like off, on, like on and just off.
Yeah.
Like, that's just it.
Yeah. It just, yikes. It's bad.
Yikes. It's bad. I'm like, I don't know how they don't have enough draft picks. I mean, why am I looking at the mock drafts? Because they don't what?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get excited. If you have the 6th pick in the draft, cool, you got the 6th pick in the draft. Hopefully you get a really good player. You don't have a 2nd round pick though.
You don't have a 2nd.
So it's like you got this high draft pick, but you don't get to take advantage of it by getting another good player in the 2nd round too. So
it really had all the makings of you felt like you had the team.
Well, that's why you make those trades, because you feel like, oh, that 2nd round pick ain't gonna be to the back end of the 2nd anyway. It's gonna be the 61st. It's gonna be the 59th pick anyway. I don't care about that. You didn't expect it to be the 35th pick in the draft. You didn't expect it to be the 37th pick in the draft, right? So, anyway, man, Candi, I can't thank you enough for doing this season. This has been so much fun. This has been one of the most enjoyable things I've done on the channel this season. So I appreciate you for this.
I appreciate you having me, and thank you for saying that. I wish it was a better season for everybody.
Yes, we all do. But the one thing we can say is we've been here before. Unfortunately, we've been here many times. The one thing that makes this one different is the expectations were a lot greater.
It was last year.
The expectations were a lot greater this time around. So
it messed everybody up. Nobody is alone. You know, I just, this is bad, you guys, and I don't think nobody expected this. Nobody. Expected this.
So as always, tell the people where they can find your work. I've got all of her links to where you can find her work down in the description of this video. But just in case someone hasn't cut the cable cord or I might have missed something, tell everybody where they can find all of your work.
Yes, you all can find me on X at CWall SE. Make sure you're following Bowie TV or Bowie TV Sports on all platforms, YouTube, X, IG, all the good stuff, Facebook. And or Candi Waller on Facebook. You know, you all can follow me. I'll accept it. I try to keep up with as much news as possible, unless, a day like yesterday you catch me on the off and I was like, I'm not telling everybody.
Yeah.
What is that? Everybody gonna come losing their mind on my tweet, and all I'm doing is sharing the news. So
he's like, I'm gonna sit this one out.
I'm gonna sit this one out. I'll be back tomorrow. And so you all follow. And hey, just give me a shout out or whatever, just say hello. And Louie, yes, thank you so much for having me. This is a lot of fun, even though what we're watching isn't fun. So
yes, it has been an abject disaster, but as Commanders fans, we are somewhat used to the carnage. So that is going to do it for me and Candi. As always, can't thank her enough for doing this. Until next time, we are out of here. You guys take care. God bless. Good night. And keep y'all head up, man. We're going to make it through this like we always do. This team builds character. That's what they do. They build character. So we'll see y'all next time. Peace.